That hurt.
Then what is this thing?
Gio should never play for U.S. men's national team again because of the action of his parents.
What an idiot! Oh!
What type of Muppet does this?
Muppets. Absolute Muppets.
I'm not going to be the best person to give a whole explanation here, but that's...
Booty! Sick! Booty!
Fucking deal with it.
What are we really doing? Yeah, I can agree with that. The zebra in between a tarantula and an elephant
has been nothing more than a sham.
Yeah, we didn't play well, but you know what? At the end of the day, we got the job done.
It's going to be a good time for sure.
Oh, sex with the first cousin would indeed be incest. And
all I need is some sunshine. That's a song by Timber, by the way. It's a great song from about 10 years ago, and it's been stuck in my head for 3 days, and I'm not complaining about it because it's a really damn good song. Timber, like the first timber is like a tree, the second timber is like the sound of a drum, you know? So Timbre. If you don't know it, go look it up. I think the name of the song is called Black Water. It's a really dark song, but well worth your listen. It's better than my experience at Myers this weekend. I got to tell you that much. So I'm in Myers and I'm shopping, and the first horrible song that comes on is hey-oh, listen what I say, oh. You know, like the worst Red Hot Chili Pepper song ever written.
No. You butchered the tune. I was sitting there thinking, like, I know this, but what is he singing?
And then the verse is like, fuck off, dude. Just trash that song. It should never been allowed on a Red Hot Chili Peppers album. But by then, they'd already well sold out. So it's, you know, one of the worst songs.
Red Hot Chili Peppers has hit Nickelback territory for me as far as just being overplayed, and I'm tired of hearing their shit.
Why do they always play the worst songs?
It's like I turn on the radio and I'm driving. I'm guaranteeing myself between 2 different channels here in Indy that I'm going to hear at least 2 or 3 Red Hot Chili Pepper songs. I guarantee it.
Like, I can put up with Under the Bridge or whatever. It's not one of my favorites.
Californication.
Yeah, I like the older Red Hot Chili Pepper stuff back when they used to wear socks on their penises and play naked on stage. Then they got crappy. All right. And this stuff, that Hey-O song, listen to what I say, oh.
Again, gotta work on that, buddy.
Huh?
Gotta work on the tone there. It's a bit off.
No, it's not. He goes, "Hey-oh, listen to what I say, oh." That's exactly how he sings it.
Words, yes. Tune, not so much.
That's how he sings it. It's stupid.
Hey-oh.
Oh, you want me to do
that?
I ain't doing that whole affected model of that.
Yeah, that's why I said your tune was off.
I hate that song. Hate it. And then I'm not shopping in peace because I got to listen to this garbage through aisle 7 and 15, and then the next one comes on and it's I get knocked down and I get up again. You can never gonna keep me down.
You don't like something by Chumbawamba?
Fuck that song. That song is such garbage.
That song wasn't good when it came out, but somehow it took off because people are stupid.
Why do people like that song? I know why, Brett, because it's self-affirming. Right? We all like the self-affirming songs. We can like twist our nipples and go, oh, I feel so much better because when I get knocked down, I get up again. Oh, God. Can you be more cliche? Also, all right. So I had nothing to watch on Friday night. I'd watched all the soccer I could watch. And so I just wanted to put something on while I did some research and stuff. So I'm like, oh, okay. I'm flipping through. I think it was Paramount or ESPN, either one of the two. And I'm like, oh, rugby. I'll watch a rugby match. And it was the women's rugby. I didn't know that. It didn't indicate it was the women's. So I clicked on it. And I guess there's this thing going on right now in the United States. And so the women were going to play, and I was wondering who they're going to play. And then I saw, oh, shit, it's New Zealand. We're going to get our asses kicked. However, I didn't realize how much we were going to get our asses kicked. I mean, we were down 36-0 at halftime, and we ended up losing 57-5 to New Zealand. And I thought, okay, that's New Zealand. They're good at rugby. I can understand why we would get crushed because I felt we were going to get crushed. So I hung around and watched the second one a couple days later. And I just wanted to see how they do because it was going to be against Canada. And I thought, surely we got a better chance against Canada. Rugby, like, that's not really necessarily a Canadian sport. That's like hockey and shit. And no, we got crushed again, 50-7 against Canada. So this is just the sport we suck at, like women's rugby. Bad.
I know we have, like, I know it's a different sport altogether and all, but don't we have that women lingerie football league or whatever?
I don't know.
Couldn't some of those chicks? I've seen some of those chicks take some massive hits, man. Can they come out and play?
That's not tag football.
Again, that's tackle, indoor tackle.
I did not know that.
But anyways, again, two totally different sports. I understand. You know, just because you might be good at this sport doesn't mean you're going to translate it into actual rugby or anything like that.
Dude, 9 minutes into the game, it was already 24-0. 9 minutes. That's how bad the United States women's rugby team is. I would guess the men's team is bad too, but probably not that bad. Because, I mean, rugby's not a thing we do. Like, we just kind of get started on it, like, about 20 years ago or so. And then cricket. We suck at cricket, and that's acceptable.
Sure.
No, we don't play cricket here, you know? So it makes sense. I did want to shout out that River Dance sucks. River Dance sucks.
The actual musical dance feature?
Yes, because
sure.
They're coming to town here, right? So I had to hear a commercial for River Dance. And I'm like, man, I ain't going to that. You can't talk me into going to that. No way in hell. I don't even like musicals. Now you're going to have to force me to watch a bunch of Irish people dance around on stage.
Where their upper half of the body stands still while the other half.
It's like jiggling and tapping all over the place. It's just weird. And the music is annoying after a while. It's only so much high-pitched violins I can listen to. And those aren't violins. What do they call them? They're not. They wouldn't refer to them as violins. Fiddles. Thank you. Yes, that's correct. Way to go. Also, worst named city in Canada besides Dildo, which is a town, and that's that's not bad. I love the fact that there's a town in Canada named Dildo. I think that's freaking awesome. There should be more of them. You know, like there should be a Strap-on Canada, and there should be a Hairy Nuts Canada. I would love all those. But this one, you know, you got a city name which should be pronounced Regina, and in Canada they pronounce it Regina. Really? Regina. You're going to pronounce it Regina. In German, Regina or Regina.
It's a family name, Derek.
Regina in German means queen. Okay? That's not how you pronounce it. And I know that because my mom's name is Regina. Okay? And the horrible thing is when people, you know, have her on the list and she's next up in line at the dentist's office or the doctor's office.
Regina?
Regina Ritchie. Regina Ritchie. You are up next. She goes up there. She's like, my name's not Regina. It sounds gross. Please call me Regina. All right. Even Regina. She's like, I'll accept Regina, but don't call me Regina.
I'll come back to you, Turd, in just a second. Some people are posting their favorite
Moose Jaw. Yep.
Saskatchewan. Every time I hear that, I just think of grown-ups when the massive built guy comes up to the chicks and they're like, "You all been to Saskatchewan?" He has this really incredibly high-pitched voice.
Yeah.
We have Sex Smith, Alberta.
Yep. Oh, by the way, we did invite Seb to come on the show, but it just occurred to me, and I'm sure it occurred to him when I sent him the times. He's like, he looked at it and went, what the our show's on at the same time your show's is on.
I just thought about that as you mentioned that, yeah.
How am I ever going to be on your show? It's not possible. It's not physically possible.
Just dual stream, you know?
Dual stream.
Be on our show, you be on your show talking to her, and then you can be on our show talking to us all at the same time. It won't be confusing at all.
Yeah. And Pete almost came on tonight, by the way. He's at an acting gig right now in an undisclosed place, but he couldn't get his goddamn...
Is it somewhere in Canada? Is that why you're bent up about Dildo Canada?
I actually don't want to say where it is, because then if people know he's not home, although he has a girlfriend, they might rob his house. So I don't want to do that. But he is...
Well, they know where he lives, I guess.
But he can't get a goddamn connection there. Like, He's been struggling with that all day. He's like, it took me 5 minutes for Google to come up. It's like, yeah, don't bother, dude. Don't worry about it. We'll do it another time. Also, that's about all I got. And because tonight I was gonna bust out my vision for Pete and I's sideshow. Pete and I'm gonna convince him to do a puppet show with me, a live puppet show where he's the crow puppet and I'm the dog puppet, and we talk about soccer. And he uses the Klinsman accent, and I use my accent. Right? I think that'd be a great show. It'd be funny. I think it'd be funny. All right, the turn in the background. Welcome back to the Straight Red Card. Who are the top 50 U.S. men's national team players? I can't answer, but my wife can answer. Who has the largest wiener schnitzel? All right, I'm sure she can. She's been down the row. I already saw a Damian Downs shout out in there. Damian Downs just got there, so let's give him some time. He's played a whole 9 games this season. I think he's 19. He's got some. I mean, he's promising. Let's say that. I'm excited, but I'm not getting too excited. Like, I'm not busting out the lube or anything. I'm going to let Damian Downs develop, and let's see what happens with him. So, I hope he's awesome next season. I hope he gets a whole lot more playing time. Of course, Kern will be down in probably 2 Bundesliga then? I don't know. They might be. I don't know.
So apparently Pete must have told everybody, because everybody was spamming the location in the chat.
Spamming what location? Oh, okay. So everybody knows where he's at. Okay.
I saw at least 3 or 4 people mention it.
Let's just say it's a very nice resort town somewhere in Mexico.
Bone, Indiana.
Yeah. Do not rob his girlfriend's house. All right. She is home, and she will call the police. All right. Yeah, that's all I got. I mean, I had more, but I figured, a good 13 minutes is probably good enough.
Oh, look at this. Look at this guy.
I just had things to get off my chest mostly.
Yeah. Nope. That's
stuff to get off my stuff to get off my moobs.
Your moobs?
My moobs. All right, what do you got?
Got some fun fluff for us to start off the show with. Real quick fluff. I know
it's poetry in motion.
I'm going to turn the volume down just a little bit because there's a lot of my ears, at least. Nice. A little bit of tennis action.
Okay. Oh! Well done. Well done. Off your boobs, says Jack. No, off the moobs, man. I'm not a woman. Dude looks like a lady. Do I look like a lady to you, Jack? I don't think so. I don't think so, brother. No.
Speaking of the ladies, this is kind of old, I guess. This is it's like 5 years old. I bet you anything she's out. She's probably out of prison at this point. Derek, I think you might be giving her a call later on this weekend.
Why?
Well, she went to jail for something that I couldn't imagine why you'd go to jail for.
Oh. Florida woman arrested for slapping boyfriend in the face with a taco.
Now, first off, what's your thought when you read that?
Her taco.
Does that mean that she's riding his face?
Yeah, I think it's literally a Taco Bell taco. Don't threaten me with a good time. Yeah, okay. That's not really that good of a time. All right, I'm not going to lie to everybody and say that's a good time. It's not. It's like that person who texted me that spammed me on my text and said, hey, you want to eat my pussy all night? And I said, that sounds like a whole lot of work. No thanks. Yeah, it's not that fun. Sorry. Not all night for certain. And, I have my limits on the time limit on how much of that I'm going to do. All right. I always did.
One's hoping that her taco was soft and his taco was hard.
Hard or soft. That's what she said.
So I don't
Come
know,
on.
man. It's just I mean,
Look,
how would you feel to be the guy that had your girlfriend arrested because she smacked you in the face with a taco? I mean, I know assault is assault.
I mean,
But
it
unless there's like some hot sauce on that, then I'd be like, okay, well, wait a second.
It,
Give my eye now.
no, he's a wuss. A taco doesn't
I mean,
hurt.
look at her. Look at her. She's like the crazy person that's like the serial killer in most female serial killer movies.
No, she's just laughing, and because she's being arrested for slapping somebody with a taco.
I can show you Mr. Yang from Psych. She looks just like her. I freaking identical. Cock of the heads, big grin. She's gonna get out of prison. She's gonna murder the guy with tacos.
Maybe.
Probably.
It's going to take a lot of tacos.
A lot of tacos. Huh?
You
She's
have
up for the challenge, I guess.
You have to bury him under tacos. I think it's fine.
She tried that already, Derek. Come on.
No, she just slapped him with one. And he's such a big wuss, he didn't eat it. She just ate it.
Well, you know what? That in that relationship, I think the issue here and why he was more than happy to send her packing to jail is because she did not find his hobbies sexually appealing.
Well, before you go to that, I picture it as the scene from Dumb and Dumber and the snowball fight, where he kind of gently threw his taco at her, and then she threw her taco at him, and then before you knew it, she just lost control and just hammered him with a taco right across the face. So
they were throwing soft tacos at each other, and then she threw her a hard taco because that's all that was left. And he got pissed.
Something like that. Yeah, he was
I was saving that for later.
He was the woman in this situation. All right. He was.
So Derek.
Yeah.
We've all had relationships with women. Some of us have been married before, still currently too.
Oh, both of us. Yeah.
So when you look at somebody saying that all of your hobbies and ambitions are to attract women,
I'd say bullshit.
That's what this guy said, right?
Most men, actually, if they have hobbies that are sort of nerdy, they will hide those hobbies.
I'm sorry to say, outside of sports, most male hobbies are kind of nerdy.
Yes. For me, Napoleonic history, all history, war history, of course, historic preservation, as I say here, historic wargaming, soccer. No, it's not something you bring to a first date, because women really aren't into most of those things. They might be into soccer if you're lucky. But, those obsessions mine are not going to be their obsessions. And no, they don't want, that's not something I'm talking about right away.
Well, I mean, even if they're into soccer, then you got the problem that they're probably going to like a team that you don't like anymore. And there's some conflict there constantly.
I mean,
the worst.
All of our hobbies is masturbation at one point or another. This is not something you talk about on a first date. I mean, unless things start getting really fresh right away. I'm just saying, this guy.
Do you like dogs or cats? Okay, well, how often do you masturbate?
Yeah. Can anybody name me a hobby that men have that they do to attract women?
Well,
name one. Just name one.
Adam was talking about his basketball and stuff like that, how his wife doesn't find that very attractive. And I said, I think what he's talking about are stuff like bow staff skills, archery skills.
No, nobody cares about that. Women don't care about that.
Hey, babe, check this out. Bullseye. I'm going to pierce the bullseye again.
I like to build boats inside of bottles on my spare time. Not attractive.
Yeah, I don't blame them on that one. No.
I like to write poetry in my not attractive.
I don't blame them on that one either.
Like, I can't even call me being a musician a hobby. I did it for so long, but you could call it a hobby. Maybe that's the only one. Being in a band, yes, that gets you chicks. There's no doubt about it. It takes so little effort. It's really easy to do, especially if you're really big in the local area you're in. Yes, it's easy. But outside of that, and I'm struggling to call that a hobby, honestly. It's more like a passion. So,
how'd your previous lady enjoy your cooking?
Yeah, I'm really good at cooking, but to me, that's not a hobby. I just love cooking, and I don't think that's a hobby. That's a survival skill, right? You're feeding your face.
I mean, you could survive off of the bare bone basic, health bar type thing.
Not very well.
Whatever. You could survive. I'm sure they've got bars out there that if you take 1 or 5 times a day, you'll be more than healthy. It's just you won't be satisfied. And why would you want to live like that?
Well, I mean, if you want to eat well, knowing how to cook is a smart thing. And I like to eat well. I don't think of it as a hobby. But scroll up so we know who this Dumbo is.
Oh, yeah.
Who is this Dumbo? Ed Lattimore. He's a former boxer, professional boxer. That's all I know about him.
Yeah.
Stick to boxing, Ed.
13-1-1.
Stick to boxing. Comedian, you are not.
I'll give him boxing maybe an attractive quote unquote hobby, if you will, because
he did it professionally.
I'm saying that well, he enjoyed doing it, and it's a hobby for some to go out there and just punch people. But you know what? That tells the ladies that you'll be safe with me, unless you're on the receiving end, then that's different, okay?
So that's why not a single person in his post agreed with him. Every single person who posted said, "Dude, you're wrong. I don't know where this is coming from. What kind of funky ass, weird ass hobbies do you have that are attractive to women? Because most hobbies aren't that. Go walk through Hobby Lobby. You find one thing in there that women like to do that'll make you more attractive. You won't find one. You won't. Knitting is not going to make you more sexy to women. If you like my knitting and you think I'm sexy, no, it's not going to work. All right, let's move on from this. This guy's an idiot.
Yeah. It makes sense if the world were to the world as we know it come to an end tomorrow, where the internet goes down, we've got no electricity. Yeah, I would imagine those bush people, the people who live out in the woods and stuff like that, who can hunt and survive off of foraging and stuff like that, might be attractive skills though.
I don't even think that if you're a hunter, that's not a fucking hobby.
No, it's not. But when there's luxuries like what we have now, where I can just go down the store anytime I want to and grab a handful of carrots to make a soup or whatever,
Sure.
I can do that. Whereas, we were looking like, oh, that guy's out there gardening. That's a hobby. Well,
Yeah.
no, the gardening's not necessarily a hobby. It's learning an old skill that we all used to do 2 generations ago in our backyard.
It's closer to a hobby, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's
on a
closer.
small scale, sure. But then
Sure.
it's just on a larger scale, it's just farming, and that's a job.
That might be attractive to some women. What do you do in your spare time, Brett? Oh, I garden.
Mm.
Oh, what do you garden? What do you
nice
grow?
zucchini plants up there growing right now.
I know you and Evie both like the zucchini. Yeah.
I can't run out of zucchinis, guys.
Giggity. All right, what else we got?
We're moving right along, aren't we? All right, so Drew asks Lawless, can you objectively tell me how it's been the most successful, talking about MLS,
Yep.
and how it grows the game more than grassroots pro-rel system? So,
well, all right. He's not going to be able to convince you of that. There's no way, because it hasn't been tested here. We don't really know whether Pro-rel's going to be better for the grassroots. Theoretically, it certainly seems like it would be. Certainly seems like it would be, but we don't have.
I think I agree with you up to the point where we're not sure if it's going to help at the grassroots program. Because I had this debate earlier with the I think it was the USL, no, it was an PSL team, and I was debating on behalf of them because they're talking about. I forgot how it happened, but the guy mentioned whoever's running that thread said Pro-rel would fix the issue. And people are like, well, how's Pro-rel going to fix the issue at the grassroots level? I'm like, well, the idea behind it is that you have all these teams who have the opportunities of progressing forward, and they're going to scout their local area significantly better than MLS by themselves could.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Chicago, Cincy, Columbus, and even St. Louis are all relatively close to Indiana and Indianapolis.
And
they're not scouting for shit. But if we had promotion relegation, Indy 11 would be scouting better. Fucking DeMarcus Beasley's team up in Fort Wayne would be doing better,
I mean,
They'd
yeah.
always scout that area.
I'm
So I
just
mean,
saying-
from a grassroots level, it would grow that aspect of it.
Theoretically, that's all very true. And it's not to say that some of those teams aren't scouting already, because they are. Because especially USL teams, a lot of the younger kids now don't want to sign with MLS because they're stuck there then. So they're more willing to sign with the USL team like Jonathan Gomez did. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure Pro-rel is the solution to everything. I'd love to see it,
No,
but I don't think it's going to happen.
no, we've had this opinion for years now.
Right. I'm pretty certain he says that.
Well, we're gonna scroll up. And we'll just go down his list,
Okay.
and we'll make our points from there.
Okay. Go ahead. All right. So, yes, it's been around for 30 years, MLS. There are 30 teams, 20 expansion, a lot done, some of it done in somewhat evil ways. $500 million expansion fee is nothing to be proud of.
Yeah, in fact, I think that's a negative on the league as a whole.
It's absurd, and it makes it a Ponzi scheme, essentially, that
Like,
nobody's going to want to break up because
you
they
give us
paid in.
500 million, and then we will give everybody else a portion of that in the form of GAM and TAM.
Yes. And so it also locks in the whole concept with the owner who just spent $500 million, $500 million, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
that they have been guaranteed there will be no Pro-rel. Okay.
Yeah.
And this whole idea that Alexi has, that I think we forgot to bring this up. Yeah, we did. God, I wish we would.
There's a lot of those. We'll get them back. We'll make a list. We'll get them back on, and we'll just hit the lawless talking points because these always come up with him. Like, not because of him, but people always are asking him these exact same questions.
But the whole notion that MLS is going to buy USL is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And he's not the only one saying it. Davey said it too. And not that they're dumb people, but those are dumb things to say. And it's dumb because MLS could just pick off all the USL teams they want one at a time. The ones they want, and get $500 million for it instead of paying to buy USL, the whole fucking thing. Why do they don't want the whole fucking thing. They want the teams they want, and they want to get paid to bring in those teams from those markets. Why in the world would they waste their money buying USL when they can just do what they're doing now and make money doing it? Why spend money when you can make money? They're not stupid. Don Garber's not an idiot. He knows how this works.
Yeah.
And then 22 soccer-specific stadia. Okay, that's nice. Free development academies. That is definitely a bonus.
Outside of the stability of the league, the free academies are probably the biggest reason why this is the best, quote unquote, best league of the Americas.
That is
of the United States. Let me rephrase that, not the Americas. But
it's the one thing they've gotten right?
Yeah.
That's the one thing they've moved to free development academies.
Move to the next point, Derek. What's next?
The reserve league? You got to be joking. Come on, yeah. Lexi, man.
We got this nice reserve league where half the teams end up losing the first round of the U.S. Open Cup against semi-professional sides.
Don't buy this MLS Next Pro hype. It's shit. It's a marketing tactic. It's a joke. Anyhow,
it would actually be better off if those reserve players played in USL.
Right. Let's bookmark this, and let's bookmark the MLS should buy USL comments for the next time Alexi's on.
I'll try to find that one later, but
yeah. Supporters groups.
Everybody's got that.
Everyone's got those. Like
at this point, every USL's. I mean, you go all the way down to MPSL. It's all there.
I mean, the Brickyard Battalion is one of the biggest supporters groups in the United States. Period. Player transfers. Like, they should be congratulated for that.
Well, USL's doing that too, though. That's the big talking point there, is that some young players are preferring to go to USL because, one, they'll probably get more playing time initially as they're waiting to move to Europe. So,
front office jobs, all going to mostly Ivy League educated morons who have no idea what soccer is, but they've been trained in, what do they call that? Sports marketing.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Well, I mean, what does he think happens at every other team? Even MPSL sides have, quote unquote, front offices. So they may be minimal, but
it's ridiculous. Yeah, USL people hire people for the front office. coaching jobs. Well, that kind of comes with all of the teams in the pyramid. They have coaches on every team. It's not just an MLS thing. Depth and talent. I don't know about depth quite yet. It's getting better.
No, depth is still an issue, right?
It is.
It's still an issue because we keep expanding.
It's getting better, but it's. I mean, we've come a long ways since there was a soap star playing on LA Galaxy. All right, there was literally a guy on 90210 or whatever that show was that played for the LA Galaxy.
That's fair. I mean, just saying, if you go back to like the 2006, I'm using this one because I remember this. We talked about this before, but it was the Houston Dynamo versus the Revs, and you look at their benches along with their starting 11, and they're deeper than any MLS team out there today. The big difference here is that they're the quote unquote depth of MLS right now is predominantly all just academy based or some journeyman, but for the most part, it's all academy. You
can't really use DC United and the other, because that's when there were like 10 teams in the league, right?
That's my point, though. You keep adding the expansion teams, you keep thinning the herd, and all of a sudden you go from teams where you had potential starters for the U.S. men's national team, but of course, different time period, sitting the bench at some of these top teams in MLS.
But that's not really what the teams are doing. What the teams are doing now in MLS is they're going to South America and they're buying up a bunch of Argentinian kids to make up and to fill that gap problem, that depth issue. The problem is beyond 15 players, you're right. There is really no depth. It's 15 players, and after that, it's a struggle. And then etc. I don't know what etc. is. And then for fuck's sake, is that what that means?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Lou says those Melrose places, Andrew Shue.
There you go. And I know Andrew Shue played in South Africa or whatever. Amateur ball in South Africa. Maybe it'd been pro ball. But there's no way that guy at that point would have even played for them, except for it's a publicity stunt. I mean, nobody would pull a shit like that now. We're just going to hire some guy from Melrose Place to come play on our team. You could say maybe he earned it in practice, but that's pretty sad. Spencer Derty for 669. What is more difficult, playing Stuart Copeland's spirits in the material world or dealing with MLS BS? Stuart Copeland being one of the best drummers to ever pick up a pair of sticks, I can tell you there is no way, and I'm a pretty good drummer, that I could play Spirits in the Material World. I mean, he's just flat out awesome in that song. So dealing with the MLS BS is just what we deal with on an everyday basis. So it's easy. So
I want to jump back to the comment you made just before hitting the super chat. But thanks again, Spencer, for the 669 there. But you had said if even if you want to say he earned it in practice, it was still kind of whatever, it was sad or whatever you were paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing.
It is sad.
But remember, we just had Eric Wynalda on the show, and he had talked about how he got booted off the national team, and he quit his gig with San Diego, I think it was, right?
Right.
And basically, at that point, he had no soccer career to go to. No, Mike, he ended up getting the gig in Germany and stuff like that. But if a team came out and said, "Well, here's a guy who's working at JCPenney's. He's pretty good at soccer. Let's call him in."
Well, you're talking about a time even before MLS when the soccer world back, like let's say 1993, was a vast, vacuous desert of nothingness.
Sure.
No one cared. It was like walking through the ruins of San Francisco after the 1918 earthquakes or whatever year it was. It was demolition. It's like walking through Chicago after the fires, right?
Sure.
That's what soccer was. Like no one. Why do you think I dedicated myself to tennis instead of soccer? Because my senior year, I had to pick tennis or soccer. And I said, well, I got a better chance at being a professional tennis player than I do a professional soccer player, because who the fuck even cares about soccer? No one. I will never be able to make a living at that. And since I moved to Indiana where tennis and soccer were the same season, I had to pick one. And so I did. And I picked tennis, even though I loved soccer. I did. And I played it for 3 years up till then and in high school. And it devastated me to give up on it. But it's like I was a really fucking great tennis player. So that's what I did.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's my point. You mentioned 93, and that's only 3 years different than when Andrew Shue came into played 5 games. I guess I just looked it up, but 5 games for LA Galaxy. I'm just saying he could have been good enough to make the team and play, even though he doesn't have a history of playing. He's some random actor that came in type thing.
It's sad because, yes, you have an actor on Melrose Place playing on the team. That's how bad the depth was back in whatever year that was, 96?
It was 96. It was opening league. But again, but I'm saying I don't know. You're looking at depth anyways, and yes, it was rough and everything like that. But again, I'm specifying that Eric Wynalda 3 years prior, as to the year you mentioned, could have been without a club.
Yes, so having MLS was an improvement.
Yes, but
it was I know, but it was an improvement for Eric. At least there was a team and a professional league that people could go play in, because soccer was dead in the United States prior to that. There were like disparate leagues fighting against each other, competing against, but they were all tiny little tidbit leagues. What are we arguing? I don't know what we're arguing. You tell me what we're arguing about.
You said it was sad that they got an actor come and play at an MLS side, and that's how sad the depth was. And I'm saying a couple years prior to that, there was a point where a legend in the sport had no club and wasn't playing, probably could have gotten a job at J.C. Penney in that time period if he didn't get the call from Germany.
Why can't both things be right? Both things are right.
Just because he's an actor doesn't mean he's not good at the sport, is what I'm saying. And I have no idea. I have no idea who the fuck how good he is or anything.
No,
that's not my point.
He was not good. That's
my point. I don't know that, but I'm saying, just emphasizing that. They got an actor, and that's sad because that was bad. It doesn't dictate how good he was or how bad he was. You just said, here's a guy who doesn't have a club. Now he has a club, and that's sad because he was an actor.
Yeah, it is sad, and I'm standing by it. It's sad that he played in the MLS. It's sad.
Why?
That was a sad reflection on the league itself at the time and where it was, because the league was just getting started. It was just a baby. It had a lot of crap players.
Why was it sad? Why was it sad that he was an actor, then he got a gig at MLS? Why was it sad?
Because he was shit.
Thank you. That's all you had to say. But by simply saying,
I thought I said that already.
No, but by simply saying, we have a guy who got picked up by LA Galaxy. He was previously an actor, and that's just sad. But you didn't specify how good or bad he was.
He sucked.
I specified how I didn't know because I don't know who the fuck he is.
Well, then I told you he sucked.
Yes, thank you. That's all you got to say.
All right, let's move on. I don't even know what the fuck we're arguing about.
Yeah, let's stop arguing. Let's argue with the person in the chat. Let's see. Al, are you there? We're coming back for you, bro.
Oh, Al. We love Al. I wish Al was here. I don't know if he's here or not.
Here. He was here earlier. I'm sure he's still in the chat somewhere.
And listen, Al, don't take this personally. We love you. Okay. We think you're a wonderful dude. And but after your whole heat map thing, I'm like, okay, let me go find out what Al's talking about. And I went to several websites, and this is the same heat map I got on every single one of them for his season. What does that look like to you? Looks like he played left winger.
No, left. We'll split it on the middle and say left striker and a 3 striker.
Left striker. Whatever. That's fine. That's fine. He spent a lot of time on the left. That's all I'm telling you.
And I even mentioned, I go, man, if he was a center forward, man, he never left the opposition's box. He just camped in there. It's like they'll come back. They'll come back to me. Come on, just wait. I'll wait right here. So, but it was funny. It was funny because like looking at it's like, well, he's playing left striker, but we wanted to take a look at another striker.
Yeah, we're like, okay, what does a center forward look like? So we went and checked out Josh Sargent just to compare and contrast. That's what a center forward's heat map looks like. More centrally, obviously based.
Yes! Oh, yeah! Can you feel that, buddy? Huh? I have exorcised the demons. This house is clear.
Now Al's attacking me for playing tennis. Like I can't win. I had to make a decision, by the way. I did.
Sergeant 8.
I had a better chance of getting a scholarship in tennis than I did in soccer. You got to make those kind of decisions. I'm sorry. And the fact
it's not copyright, but it's fair use.
The fact that tennis and soccer were at the same time of the season blew balls. Trust me. I was like, why are Indiana so stupid? This doesn't happen to me in any other state. Just Indiana. It was my third high school, too. And my chances of actually going on the soccer team as a senior, there was a good chance that I'd just be cut regardless. Because why? Why? Because they already kind of had their team set. And rather than have some guys going to be there 1 year and out, why have me when you have a bunch of sophomores and juniors you're developing for the next season? Yeah, it was a tough decision. I'm not giving your money back, though. No.
But I love Sarge's map because it's predominantly I'm in the middle of the box getting the ball, or I'm covering on defense at the halfway mark.
Yeah, that's where he waited for the ball.
He's just basically constantly running up and down this 50-yard mark right there. And occasionally drifts around a little bit. But in comparison, Haji is predominantly out wide left and then comes in. This tells me is that in the attack or in the defense, predominantly he's on the left-hand side. And in the attack, he comes into the center of the box.
But I want to thank Al for making me go look at heat maps because I just never really thought of it that way. And, I've seen heat maps before. And I was like, okay, we trust Al. Al's a good guy. He's been here a long time. I'm going to go look at some heat maps. If he tells me they're heat maps, they're going to solve this, discussion. In the end, though, Al's right. He cuts in a lot, especially, at the very end, as you can clearly see on the heat map. Mm-hmm. He ends up, especially when the ball's on the right, in the box. So left striker, yeah, I guess. Left winger, left striker, whatever you want to call it. It's left. We'll just say that much.
All right, hold on. I'm curious. Let's do a Christian Pulisic.
He's going to cut in a lot.
He's telling us to look at any other winger.
But
you know what though? For AC Milan, not so much.
Yeah. Yep. Not as much cutting in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, but we already agree with you on that he cut in a lot. Because, the way, especially the way they operate at Coventry, whenever the ball's on the right side, Haji Wright's cutting into the box. That's why his map is so left, bam, sharp cut to the right, into the box. It's like left. It's almost like he's riding the sideline, which I don't think that's completely 100%. But I mean, that's what the heat map shows. He rides the sideline till he gets down into the, near the scoring one final third. And if the ball is on the right side, he's cutting in, period. Done. So, all right. Well, I guess sometimes we just have to agree to disagree. If Al's
victory is ours.
We're not always going to agree. It's fine. All right.
Okay. Well, let's talk with somebody else that we may not agree with here. This is this chap on X called Fago, and I don't know if it's Fago. That's what I'm calling him.
How's it spelled? Fiago.
Nah, it's Fago. So,
are you thirsty?
Exactly. So, Men in Blazers talks about the U.S. born Fabian Hürzeler is the where do you say the American Julian Nagelsmann. Did I get all those names right?
Yeah, they're kidding.
Yeah,
it's Hürzeler. Yeah,
Hürzeler. That's close enough. Fuck it.
Yeah. So he's born in Houston.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, it's just he and again, Man, Blazers isn't dubbing him this. That's what the media dubs him as.
Yeah, but they tongue in cheek.
Sure.
Tongue in
cheekly.
Repeat it because they think it's funny.
Yeah.
Roger does in particular. And then Fago, aka Fiago, says, why are Americans always trying to make everything about themselves? This guy has exactly 0% American roots. 0?
Well, yeah, and that I'm fine with him saying, "Hey, why are we dubbing him the American Nigsman?" Right? I'm fine with that. Whatever. That's
He doesn't understand
silly.
it's a joke. He doesn't understand that's a tongue-in-cheek joke. It's a joke.
Yeah.
He doesn't really believe he's the American Nagelsmann. Of course not. Roger's not that stupid. He's just, this is tongue-in-cheek. He's kidding around. And this guy takes it super serious. And he's just upset that we're co-opting Fabian Hürzeler as an American. But he is a dual nat. He's an American citizen. Yeah, I get it. He only lived here for 2 years before he went back to Europe. But he also visited constantly. He's been coming here for years on vacations to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
He has another, I think he has a what are those called? Those places where you have like a timeshare.
He's coming over to catch a couple Copa matches too.
Yeah. I mean, and he loves coming here. I think it's the quote says, "I just love the country. I love the people. I love the adventure."
But it's a 0% American roots that annoys me. Not that I'm saying that he's like distinctly tied to America, like, oh my God, I bleed red, white, and blue, or anything like that. But you can't say he has 0%.
Well, he played for the youth teams, the U.S. youth teams too.
Yeah. It's
not like he hasn't been here over and over again. He has been, and he loves coming back here. As an American, you know, he's got the passport, so he can come here, and he's been coming here a lot. Does that not make him that takes that 0% thing? It's just done. It's not true. So I've taken shit about this already on X before when I brought him up on the show. People are like, quit talking about Fabian Hürzeler. He's not American. Yeah, he's got an American passport. Is my brother not American? He was born in Germany. So does that make him just German? No. It's ridiculous. He's born on a fucking army base. So people get so hung up on technicalities and what's American and what's not. I mean, why are you so fucking concerned about how American some person is or isn't? They think they're American, and Fabian Hürzeler certainly considers himself to be one. He even talks about it, being born here, and he's proud of that. That's enough for me. Who am I to judge? Am I the purveyor of who's American and not? Well, apparently this guy thinks he's the purveyor. He gets to rule who's American and who's not American, and the rest of you are just clowns because you're just whatever. God. We embrace all dual nats. At least I do. Others don't. I get it. Other people don't. That's fine. That's their business. Maybe they should look within. You know, maybe their standards of what an American is so personalized that it almost becomes well, I'm being very careful about my words here, but
well, I mean,
xenophobic.
Sure. I mean, the thing is that other people in different countries have different thoughts on what amounts to citizenship and stuff like that, and you can't even get citizenship unless you have X, Y, or Z. You know, we're a bit loosey goosey when it comes to those terms. If you're born on American soil, or you have American parents born anywhere else, you're in like Flynn. You know.
Yeah.
We're a little more loosey goosey on it, and the American Nagelsmann, whatever. If you don't like that, that's fine. I mean,
but it's a joke.
I'd like to see who actually dubbed it in the media. Who was the first person to dub it? You know.
It was still a joke. The first person that dubbed it, that's a joke. No one is Nagelsmann.
And
right?
I read it actually in one of the German presses. I can't remember which one it was.
Could have been Bild.
Maybe been.
It's probably Bild. Anyhow, this guy's has a lot of praise heaped on him. He's an amazing manager. He's already got St. Pauli.
Best jersey yet in a long time, by the way.
We've been talking about Hürzeler here for quite a while, and St. Pauli is always a part of or mostly, namely, is often a part of my report for Yanks Abroad. I talk about Matarazzo, I talk about Hürzeler. You know, we talk about David Wagner here too, and people are going to say he's not American, even though he put on, just like Hürzeler did, a red, white, and blue jersey and played for the big boy team. And they don't consider Wagner American either. And that's fine. Everybody has their standards, I suppose. Yeah. But yeah, I just don't know why this guy's so worried about it. Who cares?
It was a ridiculous thing to get that bent out of shape about.
That's for sure.
I mean, as we talked about with Wallace and Wynalda, the social medias are not real life people. It's best not to get bent out of shape about it on the socials.
Right.
Just go in there, have some fun. You can debate, you can argue, but move on after it's done.
Yep.
It's not worth getting so bent out of shape about. Speaking of Wynalda, and a lot of people in the chat have talked about it throughout the show, there's a whole article that's going on about stemming out of TMZ that Wynalda happens to be listed in a battery report at a youth soccer game.
Yeah, this is the state finals that we talked with him about on the show that they won. I'm not getting into my personal discussion that I had on the phone with him about it because that's not for me to do. But I can tell you he would deny it.
Sure.
That it's ridiculous. And what does this photo even prove?
Well,
what does it prove?
This is the thing. Now, Derek, did you actually go in and read this article by chance?
No.
I don't know if you had time or not today. Today was
no,
a busy
I
day
had time. I knew it was garbage.
Okay, fair enough. So the title here, it's actually this title. I don't know if this is the New York Post title, or if this came straight from TMZ or whatever it was. But Eric Wynalda, ex-U.S. men's national team star, named in battery report involving teen and ugly soccer scene. That reads that he is. That reads almost like he's involved in the whole battery.
That he did the battery, which he did not.
No.
So there was a battery report, and the only way he was named in it is because he was coach of one of the teams.
So here's what the article states. The article states is that Wynalda said something talking wise, and a player on the opposition started heading towards Wynalda, pointing his finger at him, and then he shoved Wynalda. And then a teammate came in and shoved him back, and then there was a scuffle. And then the guy who did the initial shoving picked up the ball and threw it at Wynalda, apparently, according to the story again, missed his head. And then he talks about how the initial player talks about how he got hit and he got a scratch on his face. And he doesn't know how he got it or who hit him. But nowhere in the article does it indicate that Wynalda was even involved in the actual altercation.
If I were Wynalda, I'd be suing the New York Post right now.
If there was a report, it was like, hey, player X and player Y got into a scuffle. Player Y got upset with Wynalda. That's it.
Because, okay, legally, the New York Post is going to be able to get away with this.
Yeah.
Because his name was in the battery report.
Yep.
But this headline or this post makes it sound like he was part of the battery itself.
Yeah.
That's what it implies. It's implicit in the statement and making you click on it. That's what they're trying to do. I would sue the shit out of these people because he actually didn't do anything. He got pushed and didn't even do anything. And I mean, it's fucking ridiculous, dude.
Well, apparently it all started according to the article. I don't know anything else besides what I read in this article, but the whole incident started, I guess, when his son got fouled and fouled hardcore, that he had to leave for the rest of the match. And that's when my guess is the talking occurred that the player ended up doing the physical altercation, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, this is horse shit.
This is horrible clickbaity title. It's all this fucking is.
It's clickbaity as hell. This is actually worse than all the press that came out when his ex-wife had the affair with Harks. And that news came out. Like that, you can handle that with dignity, which Eric did. Although jokes were made about it. Those waters have passed under the bridge at this point. But somebody's basically accusing you of battery against a child or implying it in the title.
Mm-hmm.
That's disgusting. That's absolutely repulsive from the New York Post. Just disgusting. And whoever the editor is that came up with that post, or whatever moron that works in the IT department, in the marketing IT department, who came up with that, should be reprimanded. They should figure out you can't do that to people, because that implicates them in battery against a child.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Chalky White asked what he said, and I go, and I want this to be known, I'm being quite sarcastic because I'm not aware of any details outside of what the article and what Boomer Richie said, because you said that he would have denied it anyways.
Hell yeah.
Earlier. And I go, apparently all started with the foul or throw in. I meant to say a foul throw in when Eric yelled over the line. But again, given the heat of what the article insinuates, I wanted to indicate, like, being jokey, guys. This is 100% a joke, not happening. But he yelled this.
All right. Daniel says Harks was sexy. I'm not denying that Harks was sexy or not sexy, but I will keep in mind that John Harks to this day still denies that he had any affair with Eric's wife. That's a little hard to believe, because usually if the husband admits it and then the wife admits it, which they both have, and then the doer of the nasty deed says, well, I didn't do it. What possibly in the world could Eric and Amy have to have gained with that? What do you gain? Embarrassing yourself? Amy embarrassing herself with an extramarital affair? She wanted to embarrass herself? And then Harks is like, nah, I didn't do it. Wasn't me. What's that Eddie Murphy sketch from years ago? He's like, baby, I know you saw me. You think you saw me in the hotel room with that girl, but I gotta tell you, wasn't me. Wasn't me. I know it looked like me. Wasn't me. That's another guy. Wasn't me. Okay, right. Okay. I'm not gonna believe my own eyes and ears. All right.
Speaking of Wynalda, when he came onto our show and everything like that, when he talked about Jesse Marsch and how he heard that Jesse was, deep into the interviewing process.
In Canada.
One of those two, yeah. But now it appears that Jesse is, hung up his boots for the American gig and ended up going to north of the border.
It's official now, by the way.
Yeah, it is. I got it pulled up here.
Yep.
So yeah, he was appointed as the new Canadian national team head coach, but that's not his actual title right now. Have you heard about this? What his actual title is right now?
No.
His title currently is listed as MLS Canada men's national team head coach. Because apparently the owners of Vancouver Whitecaps, in the Toronto and Montreal, right? Yeah. Apparently they all ponied up some cash to get Marsch.
Okay. So they want their name on it.
Yeah, but it's just funny because Marsch's position will be formally titled as MLS Canada men's national team head coach. Oof. That's not going on a resume. That wouldn't fit.
It's pretty weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. By the way, Fumar says it's Eddie Murphy. Didn't I? I thought I said it was Eddie Murphy. Didn't I?
I think so.
Okay.
But maybe he's talking about the comedy special.
It's Raw. It definitely is Raw. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. I nearly pissed my pants in the theater watching that back in 1987. Multiple sources tell TSN Sports Jesse Marsch will be named next head coach of the Canadian men's national team. Marsch is expected to lead Canada for its June pre-Copa American games in the Netherlands and France. So they get to go and play the Netherlands and France. That's freaking awesome.
That's pre-Euro. We play pre-Copa.
Wow. Why don't we get to do that? Not that playing Brazil and Colombia aren't good. It's just like, wow, it's been a long time since the U.S. has played some high-quality European, Germany, but not high quality. Outside of that, not.
Well, I mean, I guess the big difference here is that where are pre-Copa games at? Are they gonna? I'm assuming they're gonna be stateside, right?
Yeah, they're in the U.S.
Yeah, why not stateside? And since everybody's gonna be stateside, is Canada gonna have to fly across the Atlantic, play these friendlies, and then fly back for Copa?
I mean, it's
gonna be a lot of traveling.
It's a good challenge for the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it tests everybody. Whereas we're going to be playing in Maryland, and I don't know where the other one is, but which I guess is getting close to sold out already.
Brazil's at RFK.
Yeah, so there you go. We're staying home. Not going to challenge yourself. That's fine. I get why we're staying home because the tournament's at home. Might as well get acclimated to playing in our, right here at home.
And on top of that takes me back to the point I was making about Canada. Canada's got to fly out to Europe, play these friendlies, and then fly back to their location for Copa. Probably only have a couple of days before the actual games kick off.
They could be tired.
A lot of traveling, guys. Which is the team's already going to be here stateside. So why would it's not about challenging yourself? I mean, it's still going to be a challenging game regardless of where we play these teams at. So,
yeah. And then Marsch's CV includes, we all know, Leeds United didn't work out. Leipzig didn't work out. Salzburg was a major success. New York was pretty successful, and Montreal was not. So he's got a mixed record. His system is very specific. You got to have the right players to do it. I think Canada does have some of those kind of players. So
I think they can fit that role. They're workhorse heavy team, and they got some really good players at striker, and you have Davies and so forth, Buchanan, that can fill those wing roles. So I think that team might fit Marsch's MO.
I think he can make it fit. Yes.
But here's the thing though. I mean, if you're talking about jumping in the upcoming window, like we're talking like a month from now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he's fully aware of the players. He's been around. He knows them enough. But I mean, there's not a lot of time. There's not any time actually to implement a system. So I guarantee you, these pre-Copa matches, and even during Copa, you're not going to see Jesse Ball. You're not. Or you may see some semblance of it, but you're not going to see it as you would expect.
You're not going to see it like you see it at Leeds. No,
he's going to be like, "Hey, here's the positions I'm going to put you in. I want you to do this high pressure, blah blah."
Right.
So,
I mean, some of it he can get away with, others not, because some of the real specific stuff will be very difficult to do. The general theme, he might be able to get that. By the way, tonight I am actually drinking a beer, and it is Deduction by Taxman. It's a Belgian style double ale. I've had it a million times. It's just really high quality, local.
Taxman's good shit.
Locally brewed and Belgian. I mean, you can't beat that, and at a decent price, like a really acceptable price.
It's arguably the best of the price wise. It's the best of the indies you can get.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's tasty. All right. And what's the alcohol content?
What triple was it? 8.2?
Yeah. This is going to be 8%.
Oh, it's close enough
for the deduction. You were really close. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
so good luck to Jesse.
Yeah.
I mean, not against us.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, when's the next time? Nations League be the next time we possibly could play him?
Possibly, yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, best of luck in Copa. Anything to make the north of the border look better. Sure.
Listen, I'd much rather have a beer with Jesse Marsch any day of the week. Like if Jesse Marsch came on this show, even if he were coach of Leeds, coach of Canadian national team, he'd be way better at being on a show and just having an honest conversation than Greg Berhalter would be extremely guarded and uncomfortable the whole time. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Guarded is Berhalter. Guarded.
Yeah.
And then when the problem with guarded is when you break out of that mode of guarded and say stuff like African dogs or whatever, or do your slideshow and say we're going to change the way the world, or in this case now, the way Americans think of United States soccer. It just doesn't come off. And even Wallace said, yeah, this is not what he's good at. This is a major flaw. He's not inspirational in any way. And, this is somebody who supported Greg coming back, as he said, for better or worse. And, of course, he said it might be for worse. So there you go. All right, what else we got?
We're going to move on to a tried and true classic segment of the show.
Transfer news, transfer news. Who's getting mounted on transfer news? Who's getting over on transfer news? Transfer news. Everyone loves that transfer news but me.
Whatever.
What up?
Yeah, so here we go. The big rumor is that Rokas Pukstas is going to leave Hajduk Split and head off to Fenerbahce. Okay, there was a time in history when the Turkish league, including Galatasaray, there were some really top. There were like 4 or 5 clubs there where you're like, okay, that league's good. That league's not that good anymore. And I don't know why you would go there, because there's no eyeballs on Turkey. I mean, I guess it did get Haji to Coventry City, but why not go to Holland? Why not Holland? There are a lot more eyeballs on the Dutch league than there are the Turkish league. Why not? Portugal.
Some of it might have been, just agent stirring the pot. But I mean, there were all the rumors, again, just rumors of him have interest at Liverpool, and I don't think he's going to Liverpool by any means. But I'm saying there've got to be better options at this point, right?
There got to be.
I know, generally speaking, the Turkish league would have been a nice. It's nice to still step up from where he's at now, but there are better step ups. I think, personally, my opinion.
Yeah. So BMR is saying, come on, Eric, you don't watch Turkish league. No, I don't. I can track the results of how they're doing in Europe now compared to how they used to do in Europe before. They did better. Not every time, but you could always count on Besiktas or Galatasaray or Fenerbahce to do something, right? I track the league. I don't watch it. I don't even know where I could watch it, honestly. I have no clue where I could watch it if I wanted to watch it. Probably some illegal feed. But still, you're going to get more eyeballs if you're in Holland. You just are. And you're going to get a lot more eyeballs if you're even in Portugal, you're going to get more eyeballs. Why not go to a mid-table or whatever Spanish team, or go to Italy, play for a mid-table, lower mid-table Italian team? I think that's less of a culture shock if you're Rokas Pukstas than going to Turkey. We had a player not long ago who went to Turkey and found adjusting to the culture to be very, very difficult. And now he's retired. He ended his career there. What was his name? Left back. Played for Leeds at one point. Played for Nottingham Forest. Has a funny name that's hard to pronounce. Eric Lehigh. Oh. I got it before the chat even helped me. This is great. So
they're still sitting here thinking about that.
Yep.
Not a single Lehigh in there.
Yeah. Eric
nice try, Johnny. Johnny chimes in a minute after you said it. Lehigh?
Well, yeah, we don't know how this works, right?
It's a 15-second. Yeah.
These could all be delayed, It's
like a 7-8 second delay.
They're coming in now, but they might have actually typed it before I said it. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is where he's going to end up going. I think he had a lot of other interested parties, and I don't know why you go to Fenerbahce. It just seems like a long way, to go further and further away from where you really want to go in the end, which is France, Italy, Germany. I mean, God, can he get like a team in Germany to pick him up? Like a newly promoted team, like St. Pauli or something? I don't know. All I know is if he goes to Fenerbahce, I'm never going to be able to watch a single game. Maybe that's selfish, but that's not the only reason I'm saying it. It's a cultural change. Living there is going to be a cultural change. The food is different. Not saying he can't adjust, but why make it as difficult as possible? And then you got to learn to speak Turkish.
I feel like it may be less of an adjustment for him, seeing he's already enriched into European culture as a whole. Not necessarily. It's a bit different. I know different cultures and stuff like that, but maybe less of one than say an American who ended up going over to England and then over to Turkey.
Yeah,
so it may be different in that sense. He may have a much easier run with it. BMR says that maybe there aren't any other interested parties. I'd find it difficult. My guess would be is that maybe this team is offering the most money, and that's why the interest is being generated here.
If that's the case, that makes sense. And I'm not saying that Fenerbahce, somebody's like, Fenerbahce's awesome. I'm sure it's nice as shit, as somebody says. I don't know. I've never been there, but it's still a cultural, it's a cultural shift and a cultural change for him, where I don't think that that's as much of a leap in Holland. I really don't. And as I keep saying, you get more eyeballs on you if you're playing in Holland. But whatever, wherever he ends up is fine. I guess as long as he's getting paid and he feels comfortable doing it, I don't have any real complaints. But I can't watch him.
Yeah.
I'll watch him in Turkey.
Just from what I've read and from what I've seen on the score sheet and stuff like that, it looks like he's definitely outgrown his club right now in the league. And he's going to be moving on. Turkey would be a step up, I would imagine, in the sense of European leagues as a whole. If he goes there, I'm sure he'll work his way up and then move on again. He is 19 years old, so even if he's there for another 3 years, it puts him at 22, 23. He's got plenty of time to keep moving up.
Fumar, I know I am a geographic freak. I know exactly how far Turkey is from the Slavic states. I'm just saying it's kind of heading in the wrong direction. I'd rather him take a left than a right, is what I'm saying. Or go north. Take a left and then go north, like Germany, Italy. I don't know. To me, that seems like, based on all we know about his talent level, that would be more appropriate. And the eyeball factor, you cannot ignore the eyeball factor. You're going to get a lot more eyeballs on you in Holland because everybody tracks Holland. They're flooded with people watching every single game. They send agents out constantly to watch all those games to find that gem, for the Premier League or for Germany. They're all looking for that gem there. I'm not sure there's as much attention these days, especially when you're talking about the bigger teams in Turkey. Usually that's where players go, the bigger name player, to retire. Like, Haji Wright was an exception in that case, right? Because he went there young after a failed stint in other parts of Europe. So I don't know. I don't think that's where you should start. But then again, it's not my decision, and he can do whatever the fuck he wants. I don't care. Actually, I don't fucking care. Let's just get this. I don't give a shit. Wherever. Don't care. Larry Henry, our friend, says there is a continued interest from several Turkish clubs. Oh no, not more Turkish clubs. Oh God. For Cameron Carter-Vickers, however, CCV is happy with Celtic. No, don't be happy. And has no plans to make a move anytime soon. CCV closing in on third title with Celtic. And of course, they just beat Rangers. It's nice, but
that phrase, he's happy with Celtic and has no plans of making a move anytime soon. How long ago did he just sign with Celtic? It was like a year ago, whatever. He's probably, in my take on this is maybe he doesn't necessarily want to make the move from Celtic to Turkey when he probably feels like he can at least make the move to EFL before anything. He's
not interested in going to Turkey. obviously. But to say that you're happy with where you are, I mean,
just like in Pook says, I think Turkey would probably be a step up from the SPL, but
well, there's more than 2 good teams in Turkey.
exactly.
There's at least 5 good teams in Turkey, so
like I said, it would be a step up, but
rather competitive. Yeah. So I mean, in Scotland, you've got Celtic and Rangers, and then whoever the third team that pops up as a challenger, and that's very rare that there is one. On years past, it might be Hearts. In years past, it could be Aberdeen if you want to go further back, but it's just rare. It's always Celtics Rangers. It's just, how much are you going to learn from continuing to play in a 2-team league? You're just not.
Well, yeah, I mean, it'd be different if the 2-team league was something more like along the lines of SPL. Now I know that's not even a 2-team league anymore, but you get my point. Is that historically speaking, there's always been like their 2 teams. You have obviously Barcelona and Real Madrid there, but it'd be different if it's that. Is what I'm saying. Where we're talking about Scotland,
you've had through the years, you've had Atletico Madrid challenge.
Sure.
This year we had a team out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like, what? But there are on occasion other teams that have been competitive in Spain. But I mean, if you're talking about the guys that usually win the league, yeah, of course, it's probably Barcelona or Real Madrid. But they're actually really, really good teams just underneath them who are really good, but they're just not magnificent, which is what Barcelona and Real Madrid are. They are magnificent. You can't say that about Rangers and Celtic. Those teams are not magnificent. And when they go to Champions League, they get their asses smashed, right? So that's not a
saying is UCL is the toughest games in Celtics history or season,
and they're getting creamed usually nowadays. So I think it would be better for him. I think, as you said, the championship is actually more of a physical, brutal, full season challenge for CCV than going back and continuing to play at Celtic.
Well, he played
Dundee and Kilmarnock and whatever. Come on.
Well,
challenge yourself.
Before he went to Celtic, he was loaned out a season in championship, and I don't recall how the overall season went.
Wasn't bad.
So
it's not bad, but to say I don't know. I trust Larry Henry generally. He's probably got some information that says he's just happy staying at Celtic. I wonder if we sat down with CCV if he would really say the same thing.
I think this is a nice way of saying I don't want to go to Turkey.
Probably.
Again, I think he's probably looking at it going like, I want to stay on my island. I want to get back to England. I want to, if EPL is not a thing right now, then I want to get some interest and go to the EFL side.
I will say this.
That's my assumption.
Food's better in Turkey.
Yeah.
The food is better in Turkey if you like food than Scotland. Just saying.
Derek's not a big fan of spotted dick.
I do like a kebab, though.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Like about a kebab, that's absolutely delicious.
Oh my God, I know. It's just the most delicious. It's the best thing the Germans took from the immigrant Turks. And it's a little different, but it's still. I remember being a kid and getting a kebab. And there's another name for it. I just forgot. But anyhow, it's fucking delicious. Great food. Great food. There's more food. There's more than that, obviously. But that, as a kid, I loved it. Oh, my God. I wanted every time. Like, so when you go to the swimming pool in Berlin, the Olympic swimming pool, like they had carts outside where you could get pommes frites and kebabs. And man, we get kebab, and then we go to the pommes frites cart. We get pommes frites, which is just French fries, with their. So the pommes frites came with it was ketchup, but it had curry. It was curry ketchup. It's really big there. It's so fucking delicious, just amazing. All right, Malik is ours. Malik equals ours.
Yeah,
seems a little possessive, but okay.
Through 2028, it looks like.
Yeah, doner kebab. Thank you. I forgot the word doner. Doner kebab. Doner kebab. Just delicious. Man, I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. All right. I really am. All right. So what are we getting to here? What's the point? Yes,
It's still quote unquote transfer news. So
yeah, he's staying at PSV. We kind of already knew that.
I mean, they announced that they were wanting to do that, but I thought they were just probably going to get him on a loan. I think they're going to get him on a sign an actual deal with him.
Well, his option to buy was reasonable.
Yeah.
Whereas Dest's was not. And from Barcelona. And that's not the only reason. Obviously, Dest has a torn ACL.
Yeah.
So that's not going to help him in this situation, unfortunately, for Dest. Had he not had a torn ACL, I think they probably would have gone out and tried to negotiate the original offer down a bit to something they could afford. But let's not gas ourselves. PSV probably couldn't afford to pay what Barcelona was saying they had to pay to keep him long term, keep him permanently.
Mm-hmm.
I would seriously doubt they could afford that. As much as they love Dest and as great as he has been for PSV this season, I am sure that asking price was not normal. Like it was probably in the 15 to 16, maybe it's 12 million and up. I can tell you that.
Well, it's weird. It's funny because I mean he's going to be out for the 2/3 of the next season,
right?
Before he even can get back out on the pitch and run around,
right?
So Barcelona's not going to be utilizing him at all, and then he's going to be on the free next January, not this upcoming January, but the following January.
Yep.
So at that point, I can't believe that. I mean, I know it'd be taking a risk, assuming that Dest comes back from this injury, the same Dest as before, but I could imagine PSV going to Barcelona and say, "Hey, we'll give you 4 for the kid. How about that?"
No, yeah, they're not doing that.
Well, then he's gonna go. He's basically gonna go on the free at that point because nobody's gonna pay anything until he comes back and starts playing.
They're gonna re-sign him.
Ah, man, I can't imagine that being the case.
Oh yeah, they will. They will.
Fuck, if I was Dest, I'd be like, nope.
I mean, he could say no, but if the money's really good, he'll probably say yes.
Fair enough.
I mean, that's what they did to Reyna. They said
they extended his contract,
right? They
in order to give him a loan,
and they paid him more to stay.
Mm.
That's part of that. And then they said, "We'll loan you, but we're not giving anybody an option to buy. Fuck that." And so that's what happened there, which explains why Reyna's not even on the bench anymore at Nottingham Forest when we're getting down to, tickling titties hour, because now it's serious. And everybody else has got something on the line playing at Nottingham Forest right now. Their jobs, their livelihood, their next contract. They go down to the championship. It affects them personally. It doesn't affect Reyna at all. Why are you going to put a guy who's got no dog in the fight on the pitch? It's not because Reyna's a bad person, or he's lazy, or he's got a bad attitude. Stop it. None of those things are true.
We need the Michael Jordan meme or gif. Stop it. Just stop it.
Stop it, please. So, yeah. And I already ate the crow, people. I already ate it 2 shows ago, I think. I ate the crow. This did not turn out to be the loan I'd hoped for. Really. Why are there only 41 likes? Because motherfuckers aren't whipping out their peckers and tapping the like button.
There's 116 of you guys. Come on, we could double that score. Let's go.
Yeah. And you don't have to use your pecker.
You could. That could be your new hobby, and you could use it to attract the ladies.
Hobby, yes. What's your hobby?
So what do you like to do? I like to hit the like button on YouTube videos with my penis.
You can use a phalange of any to maneuver the mouse or whatever you got. If you don't have a mouse, you got one of those things on your laptop, you can do that too. I use my nose, said Juan Salazar. Peckers out. That's 27. Julian Vivas for $1.99 says, do you guys think Puxis to Turkey is a good move. Yeah, we just kind of dealt with that. I mean, I don't think it's a bad move because I think they're probably going to pay him. So for that, in that way, that's good. I don't think. All right. So what I was saying was when I was younger, even not that long ago, Turkey was a better league. They performed better in Champions League. You know, you had Besiktas or Galatasaray or Fenerbahce going deep all the time in the European scene. That's less and less been the case now. It's a very competitive league, though. But it's going to be up to Puxis to figure out if that's the right move for him. Because I do think there's going to be other interests. We've already heard about the other interests before. That was on transfer news, rumors. There were rumors. And so is this one. So we don't know how true they are. So we'll see what pans out. I'm going to guess he's going to get other options. So there we go, Julian.
It's a step up. But again, we had all started hearing the rumors of various other interests that are out there. This one just came out today. So I don't know if it just means that, again, it's just all comes down to the Benjamins.
He should
maybe there isn't any more interest out there. I don't know.
He should go to your favorite Turkish club, Ankara Gachu.
Still think it's a fake club. I'm actually kind of surprised you're able to keep it up this long, saying it's the same way every single time.
It's a real team.
Gesundheit, Derek. I'll say it once again. We don't get to say it anymore because the kid left.
Oh.
What was the kid's name again?
There are funkier names than that. I can't remember his name right now.
Yeah, that was a long name. And then you threw it in with the club name, and it's just like, this is fake. Stop it. Just stop it.
Yeah. Listen, to me, again, I'd rather play closer. I'd rather go to Holland. I think that's just a more eyeballs league. But that's just me. I mean, if you can go play for like Feyenoord or AZ, that's big eyeballs, right? If you can make that move, if you've got that kind of clout. Fenerbahce is a giant team in Turkey. So if a giant team in Turkey is interested, why wouldn't another giant team in Europe, smaller league, be interested? They should be, based on all the reports, based on his youth and his ceiling. So I don't think this is the end of his options. That's all I'm saying. All right. Oh, you want me to Yanks Abroad? Yanks Abroad, Yanks Abroad. Everybody wants those Yanks Abroad to be reported on. So here we go. On Thursday, K-Cal went 10 minutes in a win. 10 minutes. Zendejas got 90 in a tie. Let's see. Sabi went 59 on Friday. Unfortunately, they are 15th, Le Havre, in the league, which is safe, probably. Max Dietz is injured. So is Julian Green. So no Greuther Fürth report. Nicholas,
that was just reported right there.
Yeah.
No, minutes report.
Nicholas Gioacchini was in the 18 for Como, but didn't play again. And they got promoted. They're going up.
I texted Derek while I was at work. I'm like, whoa, man, if the results stand, then Venezia is going to get auto promoted and Como is going to have to go to playoffs. And then all of a sudden I get a text on my way home and goes, well, that didn't end well. I'm like, yeah, fuck. That's enough. Venezia's in the semifinals. They just have 4 games to get promoted.
Yeah. Didn't you just shit on Fenerbahce for 5? Would you consider what I said about Fenerbahce shitting on them? I just said I'd rather it be somewhere else.
Smearing, maybe?
I just said they're not the league they used to be. They're not as good. They don't perform as well in Europe as they used to be. That's not really shitting. That's just actual statistical fact. All right. And then players will often go there and disappear and you'll never hear of them again. I don't like that either.
Just to follow it up with another BMR.
It's Gioacchini. I know he's
Gioacchini.
Gioacchini. All right. Testament, 90 minutes in a loss. This was a big game, and they lost. Him and Busio both went 90. They're going to end up third. They're going to end up in the playoffs, unfortunately. Lund, 90 minutes in a win for Palermo, but they're going to end up at 6. Vasquez went 62 in a win. Zalalem is injured. Oh, boy. For Den Bosch, they're getting relegated down to the third division, Den Bosch. I don't know where Zalom's going to go after that. Hilton and Osandina were in the 18 with Dordek and didn't play, which is really freaking weird. Or maybe they did play, but no, they didn't play. Dordek is in fourth, and those guys play every game. So I'm not sure what's going on there. That was against Rick Van Hees's Utrecht 2 team who lost. So they're down to 20th. On Saturday, Jedi went 90 in a loss. Ream was in the 18, didn't play. Adams went 9 in a loss, but it was good to see him out on the pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a freaking miracle because it seemed like, whoa, this is serious. Trusty, 90 in a loss, not surprising. Richards played left center back, 90 in a win. Richards is becoming a mainstay for that team, which is just awesome to see.
He needs to bring that confidence over to the United States national team. Play like a team. Play like a player that's actually playing in the Premier League for us.
And he has before.
Yeah, just not with enough consistency for it to matter. So he needs to bring it. He's playing the toughest league in the world. So just suck it up, Buttercup. Be a leader. Come on.
Right. By the way, did I mention if he goes to Turkey that we won't be able to watch him play?
Which one?
Puxis. All right.
Did we get to watch Puxis play that often in the Croatian league?
No, that's why I want him to go to Holland because they play a lot of those games on ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
All right. A lot of them. All right.
A lot of it's just out of our self-interest, guys, not necessarily the league itself.
I said that too.
Yeah.
I know I'm being selfish, but I want him to go to a league I can actually watch. All right. Gio did not dress, obviously. Yes. Crow eaten. Not been the best move. Did he learn something from this move? Yes, I think he has. He'll probably take some positives away from this. Was it the best move? No. So he'll go back to Dortmund and we'll see what happens. But I really, really, really thought he would play more than this. I really did. Matt Turner's in the 18, of course. Maloney, back from injury, went 24 in a tie. Scally, 90 minutes and an assist. Just when we're all saying that Scally does nothing going forward, he gets an assist in that tie. Pfach was in the 18, and they're not going to re-sign him like they had the option to buy. So Pfach probably going to be looking for a new team next season. Chandler in the 18 for Frankfurt.
I'll say with Pfach at the ripe age of what is he going to be, like 28, 29?
No.
I mean, he may want to contemplate getting a contract at MLS at this point.
He's younger than that. Not much. Really? Yeah, not much. I thought he was 27. Pretty sure he's 27.
It's 28. He just turned 28 a month ago. So.
Oh, all right. We're both right.
Hey, look at
that. Brendan Aronson went 54 in a loss. I'm not really sure why they yanked him so early. I didn't think he was horrible. It wasn't dark Brendan, though. Not as dark as the past. Well, the past 4 games he's played really well. Slonina, 90 in a win. Alex Mendez.
He talked to Turkey.
Hey, listen, if he can sign with Besiktas or
Americans taking over.
Fenerbahce or Galatasaray, that's fine. I think that's good for Pfach. He's already been around the block and had eyeballs on him, so he's coming more to near the end of his career. I'd say that's a fine move for him if he does that. I do not hate Turkey. Let's see. Alex Mendez, your homeboy, was in the 18. They did win that game, but they are so far behind. They're still going to finish last in Portugal. So they're going bye-bye and downwards. Pulisic, 90 with 2 goals in a win. Some pretty nice goals there. I think Leao even provided an assist for one of those, if I remember correctly, which is absolutely insane.
Didn't Pulisic didn't he assist Leao? Am I thinking this backwards?
No. Just 2 goals. He has before. Musa went 90.
He should have gotten an assist, actually, if I recall correctly. But regardless, that's neither here nor
Oh, yeah. There was one blown one. Yes. Musa went 90. Mark McKenzie went 90 in a loss. It's not been really the best season for Mark McKenzie, to be honest with you. Nathaniel Brown went 86 at left back for Nuremberg in a win. CCV 90 in a win against Rangers. Conrad, the last 20 minutes in a tie for Ibar. Don't tell me this has been a good season for Conrad. Don't tell me. Whoever's going to say it, ain't probably nobody in this.
His goals per 90, Derek. Oof.
Yeah, I don't remember who it was that we read that whole article. Actually, it's okay. It's been pretty good. No, he's barely played. Barely. Sargent, 84 in a tie for Norwich, and which was a very deflating, letdown match to watch. I was so excited for this Leeds Norwich match. So excited.
Oh, was it actually on TV?
Yes, it's on ESPN Plus.
Nice.
What a letdown of a game. What a letdown. Just nothing happened. No one scored. No craziness happened. Balogun, 45 and an assist in the win.
It's funny. There's one of the few games I actually got to watch this week, and I don't ever get to watch any of the league games. I was at my parents' house, and apparently there's some free app on that my parents can get.
Yeah,
that they're able to watch that match, but then every 7 to 10 minutes there'd be a commercial break for a minute.
What?
So you'd miss a minute of the game each time it came on.
Wow.
I mean, we came in after the assist. So I didn't get to see him assist, and I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, man, I really don't see Flo at all. I mean, no, he's out there, but I'm not seeing him anywhere. And was a very uneventful, despite the fact it was a 2-0 win. It was a very uneventful. Not even uneventful. It was probably disheartening because I was watching them. Everybody had opportunities, but they kept shanking them wide, and it was no great chances were taken.
Who's the player he came on for? What's his name? Mbolo?
I couldn't tell you. I'd have to go and look it up.
Anyhow, did he have an injury?
Came off at halftime, so who knows?
I'm really surprised they pulled him off because the manager loves that player. And he just got back. It's Mbolo. I got it right. Holy Christ. Thank you. And I was surprised to just looking at the stats to see he was pulled at halftime. So I assumed he might have had an injury of some sort, a small little injury. But yeah, I would basically guess that Balogun's lost his starting spot alongside Ben Yedder. So we'll see how that works out. It's been a really roller coaster season for Balogun.
Yedder missed a couple of should have been goals.
Did he?
And even the announcers were like, dude, Yedder only puts those away.
Yeah.
It was just wide. I'm just like,
Ben Yedder's old, so I don't know how much longer he's going to be around. So it might end up being Mbolo and Balogun next season together. We'll see. Brooks was in the 18. I'm not sure what happened to Brooks. Started most of the games this season. I think he started 28 games overall, or 26. I can't remember the number. But then there were portions of the season he'd be out of the game, then back in, then play 3 games, then be back out for a game.
I heard he threw a shoe.
You think so? He chucked a shoe at Madeira. So could be. Anyhow, a real sad ending of the season for him, for a team that really did well this season when he played. So, I know there are some really highly touted younger players that are replacing him. And, maybe Brooks isn't what he used to be. Kevin Paredes, 79 in a loss. God, another kind of anonymous, I know he's on the pitch.
He makes a pass or two here. I've seen him.
Yeah. Tolshan, 90 minutes and a loss for Sassuolo. They are going down. They are 19th. They are going down. I don't know what Tolson's going to do next, but they're going down. McKinney, 45. Weah did not dress because of a red card accumulation, but McKinney got yanked at halftime. And I'd like to say I don't know why, but it just was anonymous. It's not the McKinney we've seen the whole rest of the season. And I hope it's not because of an injury. There's no report of one. But I was a little surprised that he got yanked. I didn't think he was that horrible, but then again, he just wasn't present. He's kind of a passenger in that game. Luca De La Torre, a whole 2 minutes for Celta Vigo in a loss. Cardoso went 60 in a win. Kaveh Zahir Oleslam went 73 in a win for St. Truden. Taylor Booth, 56 in a loss. Tillman, 90. Pepe, 21 in a tie. Yeah, Tillman had some fucking amazing shit in that game. Some just amazing shit that I'm just shocked that he didn't get an assist or a goal. He was great. He had some great moments. Not the whole game. He made some mistakes too. Gave the ball away in the midfield. But Pepe had a great chance, a really good chance, and he blew it. So, well, I don't know if he blew it. It was a good save by the keeper. Let's put it that way. All right. Anthony Fontana was in the 18 for Swole. Paxton Aronson, 84 minutes, and his wave off goodbye for whomever. I forgot their name of the team. In a win, rare win. His team, for Christ's sake. You don't ever remember any of these. I have to remember them. I never write down the team names. Anyhow, they're dead last in the league. They only scored 5 points, I think, the whole season. That's unbelievable. Damn. How do you only score 5 points in a season? It's got to be a near an all-time low. They're going down. And it doesn't matter. Paxton's going back to, Aronson's going back to Frankfurt. Bello. Vitesse, thank you.
Vitesse, okay.
All right. Close enough. Bello, 90 minutes. Why do I forget? Like I could remember Volendam earlier. I can't remember Vitesse. So Bello went 90 in a tie for Lask. Sebastian Soto got a whole 7 minutes. From the hills.
He's like tripled his minutes over the last 7 years.
I know. From the hills of Klagenfurt. Actually, it's a valley, and around them are the hills. Right, it's near the Alps.
I imagine most German or
Austrian.
That's Austrian. Most Austrian cities are in the valley.
Well, the northern cities in Austria are basically all facing the Alps, right? So, but not the southern parts. But yeah, Klagenfurt is up there where it's in a valley, and then you got the Alps. It's beautiful. I'm sure he's enjoying it. It's got to be a great scene every morning. You wake up and you can look at the Alps. His play, however, has not been good enough to garner him a regular starting spot for Klagenfurt. Cade Cowell, 20 minutes in a tie. Zendejas, 75 in a tie. Polvara, a goal and a win for Aberdeen, 67 minutes. Brendan Vasquez, 45 minutes this weekend. And then just some standouts in MLS. Jared Stroud, 2 assists for DC United, former Aston Villa player, youth player. Kermashi, a goal for Miami. Bryce Duke, a goal for Montreal. Sean Nealis, an assist for New York Red Bulls. Cam Harper, another one of these wonder kids that were highly touted. Cam Harper, remember he had this time at Celtic as a youth player, or went over there briefly. He got a goal for New York Red Bulls. Maybe he's kicking it up a notch. We'll see. Nathan Harriel, an assist for Philadelphia. Duncan Maguire, goal for Orlando. Andrea Perea, a goal for New York City FC. Max Arfston. Max Arfston. Like arf, like a dog. Arfston. Got a goal for Columbus. Wait, is that Columbus or Colorado? Columbus. I'd never heard of the guy. So good for him. Jesus Ferreira, goal for Dallas. So maybe he's back from injury and going to fire on all cylinders. Griffin Dorsey, I mean, Houston fans love themselves some Griffin Dorsey.
Sounds like you just named off a Harry Potter house.
I know.
Griffin Dorsey.
Some of these names are funny. Griffin Dorsey got an assist for Houston. Maxi Rodriguez got an assist for SKC. Chris Durkin, who went over to Belgium for a while, came back. He got an assist for St. Louis. Mihailovic, an assist for Colorado. Omir Fernandez, a goal for Colorado. Two once very highly touted youth players. And then Christian Roldan, one of all of our favorites, got a goal for Seattle. And that is the weekend Yanks Abroad report.
So I wanted to jump back to Brooks real quick because you're like, I don't know what's happened to him. I was curious how many games it's been since he was a starter. So it's funny because we talked about most of the season he was a starter.
Right.
And then every now and then it'd be like 2 games he'd be on the bench. And then he'd go back to being a starter, 2 games be on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
And then it happened here against Frankfurt. He got a red card in the 22nd minute, served 2 game suspension.
Yep.
And he came on as a sub in the next 3 matches and then has sat the bench ever since. He's lost his spot.
Yes, he lost his spot. There is no doubt that Matarazzo values some of the younger up-and-coming center backs on that team. He lost his spot, period. Yes, there's no doubt. He did.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so for an hour and 46 minutes into the show, let's hit our topic.
Main topic. Holy crap. Main topic. Grab your whatever.
Crack.
Crack. Not your butt crack.
No.
Mole, no. Not advocating you do crack either.
Yeah.
No.
No. Oh. So I asked some people on the X to post their top 10.
Okay.
We got a couple in return.
Okay.
Lou was nice enough to post his top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't go past it. Probably ran out of characters. Not really, but still.
Okay.
So here's Lou's top 5. And I guess we should specify, Derek, what's the criteria for the top 50? Is it club? Is it national? Is it both? Is it who's the most important to the national team? Regardless of other things?
It's a massive blend of all of those things. And additionally, what made my balls tingle?
Somebody asked me that. Like, are we talking about overall performance? How important they are to the team? Blah, blah. I'm like, it's whatever you want.
Both. Like there's certain players I'm not just going to use their club to club them over the head, because I know when they've come to played for the U.S. men's national team, how important they are. So I will discount some of that and take into account how important they are to us as a national team. Reyna being probably the best example.
That's the best example in this situation,
right?
Right.
Not having the greatest club situations. But when he plays for us, we are so significantly better that I am willing to toss out the fact that he's having a youngsters rough club.
Yeah. I'm willing to chalk it up that Nuno's the problem.
I don't think Nuno's the problem.
I don't either. I'm joking here.
I think it's his agent, and I think you sent him to a team that's fighting relegation. So you don't play lone players.
Tax point from the get-go. Yeah.
You don't play lone players if you're battling relegation. You play the guys whose fucking nutsacks are on the line. Their pays, their salary, their families are on the line. They're going to give you blood and guts. A lone player, but you have no option to buy. You can't, if you're a coach, say, I'm going with that guy because he's going to give me everything he has. No, you're going to be suspect of that. You're going to go with the guys that are willing to bleed for you. Gio had his Michael Bradley moment. Yeah, you know what? Actually, Michael Bradley's moment was worse than this. It was worse.
Yeah, because he started one match and then didn't play ever again.
He never played again. They're like, yeah, you suck based on one game. I mean, that's just cruel. Mm-hmm. You don't try the guy ever again because his debut sucked. Like, it was way worse for Michael Bradley.
It was off the plane debut. Yeah.
I don't know how soon it was, but yeah.
Yeah.
He
Lou
played in one game.
Lou's top 5 was Christian, Weston, Jedi, Dest, and Richards. Sure.
I'm not going to say how close you are, but you're pretty damn close, Lou.
It's a pretty safe assumption there, yeah. Larry was nice enough to provide us a long list, an actual 50 list. I don't know if this was his list or if he kind of agrees with the list.
I don't think he likes to be called Larry anymore.
Well, this comes from his Larry handle on X.
Oh,
so one of his Larry handles has gotten out of prison
because he keeps saying Larry's dead.
On here, on YouTube.
So, am I supposed to come on the? I mean, this is pretty good.
Pulisic, Reyna, McKinney, Des, Balogun, Robinson, Adams, CCV. Okay, this can't be Larry's list, or maybe Johnny's not really Larry then.
Yeah,
bashing CCV for a bit. Then Brooks, Turner, Tillman of the Malik variety, Richards, Musa, and Weah, Sargent, Scally, etc., etc., etc.
It's a pretty good list.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have Cardoso down at 24. That seems a little low, but I'm okay with it. I'm not going to.
Busio's higher.
I'm not quibbling. Busio should be way lower in my opinion.
Brendan's higher.
Yeah. That's a good list, though. I mean, it's a solid little list.
Fock is higher. So, but you're right. Right. When you're talking about like the top 25 and 30, there's going to be some variations in there.
Right.
Of all the same players. That's kind of the point.
Right.
John says we're canceled for using his dead name because he's no longer Larry.
You can't cancel us. All right. So here's the other thing. Yeah, when you read our list or my list in particular, Brett, you're free to criticize it. There are going to be things in there that don't make a lot of sense to some people, and that's going to be fine because I did say, yes, I took all factors into account, including the way the wind's blowing. And there might be some recency bias in there. There might be who tickles my nuts and makes me laugh more.
Yeah. Or could be looking at what happened in the past that you're really just hanging on to. But more so
hanging on. Yep.
So what's funny about this, guys, is that I'm looking for Derek's top 10 slide here, and then the rest of the list.
We start at the bottom, though, right? Start at the bottom.
You want to start at the very bottom, like the 50th?
Yes, and we work up to the high. Yeah.
All right. Well, the good news is I also have our top 50 list from 2 years ago.
Oh, no shit.
So we can take a look at that as well.
2 years ago is going to be a lot different, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Probably there'll definitely be some variation there. Absolutely. 100%.
Right.
All right. Well, let's just start top 10 or back 10.
Oh, I thought you were going to do 2 years ago first.
No, we're going to do our current list and then look in the past.
And laugh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the idea, yes.
So top 50, yes, I did slide Mac Steets in there. But you didn't want to start with honorable mentions first?
I didn't see an honorable mentions in there.
Oh, it's in there.
All right, 1 second. Let me pull it up. Yes. I didn't see it in there.
Definitely honorable mentions. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want people to think I didn't think of these people, that they weren't on my mind, that I didn't consider them to be in the top 50.
So, okay, wait, hold on. I got a top 1 through 10. Then I got the 11 through 20, 21 through 30, 31 through 40, 41 through 50. And then it's all the awards.
Jim Carrey, turnies. And then honorable mentions.
There is no honorable mentions.
What the fuck? How in the fuck is that possible? That's fucking irritating.
All right, let me go on the actual side real quick. Spitball, Derek, spitball.
All right. So, yeah. I'm pretty goddamn sure I dumped that in there. Honorable mentions. If I didn't, I'm a fucking moron.
Nope, not even in the web browser.
God damn it. I love wasting my time working on something.
We can assume you started with an honorable mentions, and I can throw up the honorable mentions from 2022.
All right, hold on. What if I'm going to send it to you on X.
Ooh, on X.
So messages.
Share
Brett.
Screen. No.
Brett. There's Brett. Media. Okay. Honorable mentions. Send. There we go. There it is. Sorry, Brett. I'm probably just an idiot and didn't send it to you. All right. Oh, yeah. Fumar's already caught one mistake. Kevin Lund. I renamed Christopher Lund. Oh, my bad, Fumar.
Yeah, look at that. Nice.
You know, I wasn't even thinking when I was typing that in for whatever reason. Anyhow, here's some honorable mentions that aren't going to be in the top 50. Brian Gutierrez, Brooks Lennon, Zach Booth, Esmir Baraktarovic.
You haven't said that name in a while, so it took you a second to catch back up to it, huh?
No, I am smooth as hell on that one. Diego Luna, although I need a deep breath before I say it.
Maybe that's what it was.
Because it's so long. John Tolkien, Celentano was so close to making this list. Duncan McGuire, Reggie Cannon, Timothy Tillman, Zach Steffen, Mihailovic. Yeah, couldn't even. Jordy. I was like, I'm not spelling that. I don't know how to spell that. Screw that. Eric Palmer Brown, who's been injured for so long.
Mm-hmm.
He might as well be living on
the honorable mention list now at this point.
He might as well be on Mars. Julian Green, Jalen Neal, again, been injured for so long, you might as well be on Mars. And same thing with Daryl TK.
Mm-hmm.
So some of it's just unfortunate. All right. Oh,
I have Eric's honorable mentions from 2022?
Oh, Keaton Parks, Cardoso at the time, DeJuan Jones, who makes the list this time. Malik Tillman definitely makes the list this time. Fry, Julian Green, Mark McKenzie, who makes the list this time.
You skipped over Timothy Tillman.
Oh, Timothy Tillman. Didn't he just make the honorable mentions list this time? Yes, he did. Matt Miazga did not make the list at all, not even honorable mentions. That's probably an oversight on my part. Kevin Paredes makes the list this time around. Kyle Duncan, nope. Paxton Pomacall, this is 2 years ago. Yeah. Nope. Leon Flack, nope.
And you remember when Leon Flack came to Philly and everybody was like, we were all like, oh my God, here's a guy from Germany, man. He's going to make a step in the right direction.
Right. Yep. So things have changed. They have changed. All right. So now we can hit the 50 to 41.
With Kevin Lund.
Kevin Lund. Oh, God. Yeah, call me out. Surely, seriously. Listen, you're making these lists, you're just typing shit, right? And for whatever reason, for that moment in time, that very moment in time, it could have been I was listening to a game and somebody named Kevin was, and it got in my head. And I typed Kevin Lund. That's fucking great. So Lund works, though. Anyhow, we start with Max Dietz. You know, I didn't want to put Walker Zimmerman on the top 50. I really didn't. I tried really hard not to. But based on, so as I said, I took everything to account, right? I'm like, okay, in reality, he's probably on this top 50 list. Berhalter probably still comes in his pants when somebody says Walker Zimmerman. And I think Walker Zimmerman, when he's been healthy for MLS, has been pretty good for Nashville. So he's squeezed on.
I mean, it's safe to assume at that point, because if you're talking about like 6 center back options within 50, let's just say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the point, once you get past 4 and 5, I mean, it's going to be Berhalter favorite at that point.
Yeah.
Because we've lost DPB, so, and we've gained others, but.
Yeah. Then Kay Cowell, who's not recently getting a whole lot of playing time with Chivas, certainly not starting as much. Had to get him on here because I do think he'll probably be on the Olympic team. I mean, that's probably 100% going to happen.
Assuming released, yeah.
Yeah. DeJuan Jones, I still think is in the conversation as a backup back.
We were talking about him for Copa. Not for playing at Copa, but somebody that Berhalter might call up if he brings a second right back option.
Yep. Patrick Schulte is just playing really well for Columbus and has been going on a season and a fourth. Lyndon Gooch, somebody that everybody forgets about, but when he's healthy and he plays for Stoke, when he was healthy, he started and was pretty good.
I don't know. I was looking at Lyndon Gooch, and I was always a big proponent of Lyndon Gooch, although I feel like maybe 2022 would have made more sense for him to be in the talking as a talking point. Just looking over your honorable mentions, I mean, I could see a number of MLS youth players in here that would get listed before him.
But they shouldn't. That's my point.
Okay.
Lyndon Gooch, when he has played, has been very good for Stoke this season. Very good. Now, he's been suffering injuries all season, off and on. So that's hurt him. But the Stoke games I've been able to watch this. The Stoke games I've been able to watch this season, I'm still impressed with Lyndon Gooch. I just think he's way off the radar. Ethan Horvath gets on here for obvious reasons. He's actually playing now. Aiden Morris. I mean, say what you will about Aiden Morris. He's a major cog in the Columbus system, run by an amazing manager, and he does everything that manager asks of him. And we've been saying for a while, Aiden Morris needs to go test himself somewhere else now. He needs to go somewhere else. Germany, I think, would be a good spot. A good middle table team in Germany. It would be a good place for Aiden Morris to go see if he can take it to another level. Busio, 42. Kevin Lund. Christopher Lund at 41. All right.
So I feel like the 41 through 50 is going to be crazy different. I mean, obviously 2 years makes a massive difference, but
it got really harder for me.
Yeah.
The lower down the table I got really like, oh shit. Okay, maybe I could flip this or flip that guy. Like, it was so close. It was really difficult to figure out.
Do you want to, instead of showing it 10 by 10, do you want to do all of our current top 50 and then just go back and have a laugh at the top 50?
Yeah, let's do it.
That'd probably be better because it'd be a little weird trying to compare and contrast.
Yeah.
Accordingly. All right, so here's 31 through 40.
But still, if you're in the 41 and 50, you've got no chance of being called up for the national team.
Lies.
The point.
Lies. Kevin Lund's going to be there.
That's true. But that's because we are so thin at left back. And if Anthony Robinson goes down and we got no Dest to take over at left back, then you're asking, Joe Scally to go play left back. And then who do you got right back? Now we're talking about all kinds of
Jones and
we're talking about all kinds of experimentation too, right? With Weah or Musa or McKenny, 40 got Slonina. I think he's working his way up.
Yeah.
You'll notice that the goalkeepers on this list are way down the list. We are just not at a time period in U.S. soccer where the goalkeepers will be in like the top 20. The Brad Friedels, the Tim Howards. We don't have those guys. We don't have them anymore. So your number one keeper on the team, Matt Turner, I mean, he's going to be way down the list.
So, I mean, obviously we saw I always butcher the kid from Columbus. What's his name? Schulte. Patrick Schulte. We've had Horvath, and Celentano was on the honorable mentions, and we're seeing Slonina here, which only leaves really Turner. And then at that point, is Drake Callender further up the list?
Drake Callender didn't make it.
List?
Didn't make it.
Okay.
No, Stefan was in honorable mentions.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to verify because we named some of the people he's competing, the calendar is competing against when it comes to that third spot right now. And we've named everybody else besides him. So I was like, is he really going to be higher?
No.
I mean, I haven't taken a look at this list yet, guys.
No, he's not on the list at all for me.
I'm
sorry.
Good.
This season's not been that great for him. Like, other people could rate calendar if they want. I don't really rate him. Marlon Fossey, Brendan Vasquez up to 38, Alex Sendejas, 37, Griffin Yao, and Brian Reynolds, both from Westerlo. I just threw them in there at the mid-30s. And then Miles Robinson from FC Cincinnati, although Greg rates Miles Robinson way higher than this.
Higher, yeah.
Way higher. I do not. Emmanuel Sabi from Le Havre. That's, listen, you're playing in Ligue 1. You're a starter in Ligue 1. You're playing every game. You've had some great moments this season. You just can't throw that guy somewhere off the boat. He's got to be on the boat, at least in this discussion. Jonathan Gomez, who's had, I think, a really good season for Mirandes. And I know we all forget about him because he's committed to us. But I think, whether that he commits to us or not, in the long run, he's got to be on this list. Taylor Booth from Utrecht, number 31. I wish he were healthier because he was having one hell of a season last season. And then at moments when he's been healthy for Utrecht this season, he's had one hell of a game. But we haven't really seen the fully healthy Taylor Booth. I mean, he's getting spot minutes. They're yanking him out after 60 minutes now, coming back after the injury, got re-injured again. I mean, injuries are just killing Taylor Booth. I mean, I hope he gets over it. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, just taking a look, see if there's anybody from the last 10 that should be over anybody here. I mean, Lund would be my only option. That list would be up here, but who?
If Lund, if half the season Lund was getting yanked at like 60 minutes, now he's playing full 90. So got to give him credit for that. He's obviously worked himself as being a full-time player for Palermo. But then again, also Palermo had a chance. They were at a time. They were fighting for that auto promotional spot. And they had a dip in performance. All of them did, Palermo, on that team, including Lund. So I think, because we're so thin at that position, even though he's rated that far back, he's still going to be on our list of possible backups. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm taking more into consideration the fact of more of his importance for the national team than his performance with Palermo at this point, because I'm looking at players like Brian Reynolds as an example, even Griffin Yao, but Griffin Yao hasn't had an opportunity with the national team yet. So I guess maybe
you'll be on the Olympic team.
I have a residency bias here in the sense that Lund has played for the U.S. national team, so I would think that he'd be higher, but he's playing for a Serie B team, and
and he's a left back
up until recently. But
Brian Reynolds is not a left back, so that's why he's not really in consideration. We got a lot more right back options than we do left back ones, and Brian Reynolds, frankly, hasn't had a great season. I could have put Griffin Yao in front of Reynolds, and probably should have, because I think Griffin Yao has had better moments in this season than Brian Reynolds. I just put him on there as a pair. 35-36 to me, there's really not much difference, but really there is a difference. Griffin Yao has had better, higher moments than Brian Reynolds has this season at Westerlo, to be honest. And I don't know where Brian Reynolds' future lies, and he may just slip right off this list, honestly, if things keep going the way they are for him.
Yeah. Oh,
all right.
I guess that was my point, was with Lund. I mean, is Brian Reynolds really at a higher spot in this 50? And I know that we're talking about a seven spot gap, and that's kind of like splitting hairs, quite frankly.
It is.
So I guess it's not really even worth debating here. So let's move on.
Mm-hmm. Tanner Tessman, 30. Again, that means you're probably going to make the Olympic team, and he will.
Yeah.
Just like I think Bucio's going to make the Olympic
midfield's too jacked, and with Adams coming back, I mean, all signs indicate that he'll be included. So,
yep. Matt Turner, couldn't put him any higher. And this is our number one goalkeeper, showing up at 29. All right. Yeah, I can't do it. There are just too many field players that are better than Matt Turner and mean more to the team. And Matt Turner might mean more to the U.S. men's national team, but that's just because we don't have anybody else. So it's kind of like an icky spot. It's like, yeah, Matt Turner's the starter, and that's important. But God, don't we all wish we had a Tim Howard out there? Yeah, we all do. a Brad Friedel, Casey Keller. I mean, the way the game's played's changed. And Matt Turner has shown that he's not ready.
Solid, yeah, but I mean, even though it's changed, I mean, those are the previous goalkeepers that you mentioned would still be solid, confident shot stoppers. And
which Matt Turner used to be.
He used to be, yeah.
And he's not anymore. And I think that's just a sag in confidence on his part. And hopefully he picks it up because shot stopping was his thing. And then this season, it has not been. Like, shit, we thought, oh, and yeah, he's saving that for the Revs. No doubt. Nope, not this season. Like, he used to make amazing saves. You'd be like, no way did he make that save. And now it's like, how did he not make that save? That's not good. Yeah, I squeezed Toljan in here. Another guy who can play right back and left back, who's been playing for a Serie A club for 2-3 seasons now. Maybe, he's just out of the picture. We've talked about it before. We talked about conversations he and Weah had when they were both in Scotland together, and that Toljan was absolutely interested in playing in the United States. Apparently, he's gotten no calls. He's gotten no interest. For a guy playing in Serie A for 3 years and playing when he's healthy, pretty damn well.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, although if it hasn't happened yet, it's not going to happen ever.
Probably not.
He's 29 right now. He's going to miss out this year's worth of major competitions. So, I mean, we're looking at a 30-year-old that is at the end of his career. I mean, I understand he's still playing in Serie A.
I don't think he's 30, is he?
He's 29. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
He's missing out the big competitions this year. So
he's about to get relegated too.
Yeah.
So tough times for Toljan, who is out for large chunks of the season for Sassuolo. But when he was healthy, he played well. Kevin Paredes, Wolfsburg, Jordan Pefok, all the way down to 26, all the way down. I mean, he's just not playing. So
yeah.
He's been injured. Now he's back and healthy. He's not playing. Gladbach are not re-signing him. They're not going to pick up their option to buy. It wasn't the greatest season. It started out promising, and it just sort of faded away. So he dropped down for me. Mark McKenzie at Genk, 25. Brendan Aronson at Union Berlin. If we're talking a 23, Brendan Aronson's fallen outside of the 23 for me. Ricardo Pepi down at 23 because he's just, even though he's used his time well.
Well, I mean, every window we have, the first name that's always on the chopping block when we talk about, well, maybe we need to bring this guy in, it's always Brendan Aronson. So yeah, falling out of 24 is probably about accurate as far as just the U.S. men's national team is concerned.
And by the way, I'm not claiming this is a perfect list. Like, I struggled. I really struggled with this, putting them in order. It was a bitch. And so I kind of had to go on gut in some cases, not just stats. But Ricardo Pepi, 23. He played again this weekend, got 20 minutes or so. It's not the time he wanted this season, but you're playing behind De Jong. You're just not going to get that time. I don't know what his agent was thinking, but he might go on loan next season.
Maybe he was looking at it saying De Jong's old. Well, he's like, what, 32?
Yes.
I mean, you're looking at a long season with PSV that you probably get minutes, but didn't. And then, injuries are always on the board when you're talking about that age. So,
not the way De Jong plays. I think De Jong is solid. He doesn't have to do that much running.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could go on and play another 2 seasons. So, I mean, if you're Pepe's agent, you got to be thinking, maybe a loan next season. But the other thing is he signed, right? So PSV can say, fuck your loan. You're staying here in case he gets injured.
No, I mean, 100% though, this is what I would say if I was his agent. I'd be like, suck it up, Buttercup, and start performing when it's required of you. Because there there's definitely throughout the season, yes, there are moments, but then there were other moments where he did not. So, or in that case, keep performing. You're going to get more and more minutes, or he's going to get injured, or we're going to look at the next season.
I think it's really difficult to come off the bench and play 10, 8,
Oh,
7
sure.
minutes every game.
I hate when you bring people, especially with PSV being up by so many goals. Why wait so fucking long?
They waited. There are games that were up like 3-4-0, and they brought him in for the last 8 minutes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, take De Jong off. You've obviously won this game, and put Pepe on. Yeah, it's been really frustrating. If I'm frustrated, you can only imagine that Pepe is frustrated as well. So it wouldn't be surprising to me to see him back, because Groningen is going to come back up again, to see him loaned out to Groningen for another season. It would not shock me if they could afford it. That's the problem. Can they afford to pay Pepe's salary? Austin Trusty, 22, much maligned and ignored player, quite a bit of time. Luca De La Torre at 21.
Nearly on the outside looking in.
But in the inside.
Currently, yeah.
I mean, this isn't a roster. You know, obviously, Matt Turner is the highest rated goalkeeper on this list. We got to have we have to have 3 goalkeepers at the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not going to be rated very highly by me, because I've seen what a great generation of goalkeepers looks like. And this ain't one of them. And maybe Salina can pick up the slack here going down, or Celentano can, or Schulte can. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
We're down to the nitty-gritty here. Joe Scally at 20. John Brooks, even though he got dumped at the end of the season, still played, 26 games this season?
22, I think it was.
22?
22 or 24, one of those two, yeah.
Played well in most of those games. Had a few stinkers, for sure.
Sure.
But, being number 19, you would have thought, earlier in the season, he probably would have been rated higher. But the fact that he lost his job, he's got to be much lower than that. And, frankly, I also had to say, he's never playing for us. As long as Greg Berhalter is the manager.
Yeah.
John Brooks is never playing for us, so he's not going to make a top 10, ever, regardless, because it ain't happening. I had to take that reality into consideration, as well as he has played in many games this season for Hoffenheim.
Well, there's at least two people in your top 50 that will never see playing time for the national team, and that's still Jean and him. So,
yeah, exactly. And we may never see Luca Koleosho ever play a game.
I didn't even look up from there, yeah.
We may never see Luca Koleosho play. And had he been healthy and played a whole lot more games this season, he would have been higher than this, I would guess. But he didn't, and he didn't get to play those games. So I only got to watch, just a handful. He's a young guy. He's got a lot to go and a lot of development. I hope he does pick us, because, boy, would he be a great option to have out wide as a winger, playing for the national team if Pulisic goes down with a hammy. It'd be great. Another great option. So I hope he does pick us, but there's no guarantee that could happen. More probably, I think it will in the long run. I think Luca Koleosho will pick us. But until then, CCV needs to test himself, needs to get out of fucking Scotland. We already talked about it.
Yeah.
Leonard Maloney at 16. You can't leave Leonard Maloney outside of the top 20. He's just been that good for Heidenheim this season. He has been spectacular. And he is one of the reasons they are not only mid-table, above mid-table. What are they, 8th, 9th?
7th or 8th or 9th, yeah, that range. He's the only reason why Heidenheim's able to play the way they play. Because whenever he's not on the pitch, they can't play that way.
Right. And he
does all the dirty work.
And they suffered when he was out. Not all the time, but in some games it was obvious.
I don't know if they won a game, that stretch where he was out for like 6 or 7 games. I don't know if they won a single game there. They may have.
They tied some.
They tied some, and then they lost more.
Right. Johnny Cardoso working his way up this list, now at 14. He could work it further up as we go forward. I'm really impressed by Johnny Cardoso. I think he's a great player. I think he's diverse. I think he can play a 6 or an 8. He's somebody who's going to be on this team for a long time coming. Chris Richards, same thing, working his way up the list. constantly. This was an amazing season for Chris, and I just hope this continues. And I think he's going to be a regular starter for Crystal Palace, and he's going to boom up this list maybe. But he's shown me a lot this season. Did he have bad games? Oh, yeah. He had some stinkers this season, no doubt. He's had stinkers for us.
I think just about everybody's had stinkers in a season.
Right.
But yes, I think overall his season was much more promising than it was, or positive than it was a negative.
And he's shown he can play just about any position,
Anywhere in my half. I'll play anywhere in my half.
Left center back, right center back, center back, holding midfield.
Yep.
Jesus. Malik Tillman. Just a real positive, great season for Malik Tillman this season. I mean, what can you say? I mean, even the game this weekend, he did shit that no other play on the pitch could do. He dribbled through like 4 guys, no problem, and get hacked and fouled. But yeah, there's something special about Malik Tillman. Whether he can go another level up, I think he can. I really do. And I think there's even another level that Malik Tillman can reach. It's exciting to have a player like him on the team to replace. Let's say Reyna goes out because he pulls his left testicle. I think then you got Malik Tillman. And there's really shouldn't be that big of a drop off at the CAM spot if we play the 4-2-3-1. And we'll see about that. Timothy Weah, Juventus. Wasn't as horrible of a season for Weah that you would think. I think he started getting more playing time near the end of the season here.
He definitely started fitting in more throughout the season. But
yeah,
he's had limited time. He's come off the bench for 15 to 20 minute spells most of the season.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't a great season by any means. Wasn't a bad season either. I know a lot of people are going to look at it and go, "Oh my god, that was awful." I mean, it's a tough team to crack, and we'll get into it.
Well, and somebody says problem with Malik is that he won't always translate his good form to the U.S. men's national team. I think that's a Greg problem. Like if you can't do what Bosch's doing, if you can't figure out a way to make it work for him, for Tillman, that might not be on Tillman. That might be on Greg. Might be on Greg. So we'll see.
That's a big difference, right? It's what's being asked of him in a club ball versus country.
Yeah, so. He's allowed so much freedom with PSV. He floats into the open space, and they get him the ball, and he passes a couple guys. Just dribbles right by him. And then, of course, people are going to say, well, Holland's not that great of a league outside of like 4 teams. It's true. So, him staying at PSV, I was really hoping maybe, there'd be a middle table German team that would buy him. I really did. But I'm fine with him staying at PSV for now. Well, another season's not going to hurt him.
I mean, he had a so-so season with Rangers. Some good.
He had some great moments there.
Yeah, sure. Some, I'll agree.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and then he's had a good season with PSV, no doubt. So I think signing with PSV is probably for the best because he's going to be playing again week in, week out with a team that knows him, likes him, and will use him. Guaranteed Champions League minutes. And then after a season or two, at that point, then he'll probably getting those options at mid-table Bundesliga team or whatever. Maybe.
Well, I mean, and then we're going to hope that Bosch stays. And there are rumors some big teams are going to go after him, not only in the Premier League, but also in Italy. So we'll see what happens. If he stays, Tillman's a starter going forward. So. Man, people are anxious.
BMR's like, okay, you're talking too much. Reveal the top 10 already. BMR, are you wanting this to be only a 3-hour show? I mean, you're the one that's always telling us, go 4.
I mean, it's not like we're talking bullshit. I'm not filling space here. We're talking about the players. Number 10, Yunus Musa. Went 90 again this weekend. It's good to see for AC Milan. It wasn't Listen, when he said he was going to AC Milan, I really thought he'd just be a bench player all season, get like 10 minutes every game.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. He started a big fistful of games this season. So I think it's a positive. I would probably have had him higher before, but I think 10's still respectable.
Well, I think we're getting into that top 10. So I mean, we're looking at players whose importance not only for the club but from the national team standpoint, especially at this point.
Yeah.
So I mean, that 10's not. I mean, in a serious lineup, you're still talking about, being in the a starting 11, give or take, depending on how many center midfielders are on this list, top 10.
Yeah, a lot of people might think that he deserves to be further down the list, but I think if you really look at the totality of what he did with AC Milan this season, it's pretty impressive. Does he has faults? Yes. Yeah, in the final third, Yunus Musa doesn't usually give you a whole lot, although he should have at least 3 assists this season. All of the great passes that he has made this season were blown. Absolutely blown by whatever, name the striker. They've blown open shots that he provided to them and threw passes that were even a couple of them were 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, and they blew it. So he probably should have 3 assists this season at the very least.
It was like the same argument we made with Luca De La Torre when he was over at Heracles. Like, guys, got no goals, no assists this season. Like,
oh yeah,
should have had at least an assist a game.
Right. I sounded like a Canadian there. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. He got totally screwed. All right. So Ted,
you converting to be under Marsch instead of Berhalter this year.
Well, I think he'd do fine with either manager. Obviously, Berhalter loves Musa.
I was talking about you since you went Canadian.
Oh.
I said, are you converting so you can be under Marsch instead of Berhalter?
No. Fuck Canada. Canada.
So for all the people who are saying that Musa could be lower, I think number 9 is a person you could have squeezed back to 10 and have Musa at least at the 9. But he is an important cog in the short term right now, at least, for the U.S. men's national team. That's Tim.
I think so. I think 10's fair. You could put him at like 14 if you wanted to. I wouldn't quibble with it.
Move who to 14?
Oh, yeah. 9, Tim Ream. Oh, people are going to say, he's so old. Yeah. But right now, even though he's not playing for Fulham, he's just such a critical part of this team.
Yeah.
And do I want, as Tack said, us to experiment during the friendlies with Richards and CCV? Yeah, I want to see it. I want to see how that works out. But right now, Tim Ream is a leader of this team. He's still he's extremely important to the United States men's national team.
Yep.
Nobody else can make the passes he makes.
Yep. I was about to say, we've talked about this ad nauseum in the sense that it's what he does on the pitch. Not only is he a good communicator, but he does lace those 40-yard change of play balls. That opens up the entire right wing.
Absolutely.
So something that we talked about off the air that we've seen Richards do at Palace.
Yeah.
We just need to see him start doing it with the national team, which is what I was saying earlier. He needs to shit or get off the pot with the national team at this point.
It's so crazy because we've seen, as you said, Richards do and make those kind of passes for Palace.
Mm-hmm.
This weekend. How many through balls did he make that were vital? Like, we don't see him do that. I think he's plays for the national team, Richards, and I think he's a little clammed up. He's a little tight. I think he needs to loosen up and have the confidence to make those same kind of passes for the U.S. men's national team. And then Ream won't be as important as he is right now. Because right now, when we pass the ball around the back four, he's the only center back that is willing to make a brave, courageous pass, whether it be switching fields or through lines. Nobody else will do it. And I'd like to see Richards be Richards going forward.
Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's possible that left center back role, regardless of who plays there, is given that role where the right center back plays a safe ball to left center back changes the field of play to our right wing.
Yeah.
I think take Tim out of the equation, put Chris Richards there, and put like CCV outright. Do you think CCV is playing it over to Richards, and Richards is having to find that long ball option?
If you're talking about,
do you think it's system based more so than personnel based?
If you're asking Chris Richards to use his left foot to make a 30-yard switch of field pass to the right winger, that ain't happening.
Well, that's what I'm suggesting, but I'm also not saying that I wanted to do that. What I'm saying is, do you think that's in Greg's system? Is that left center back? Because Pulisic pinches in, that left side is all crammed up, that right side's almost always wide open. Do you think that's the part of the game plan?
It is obviously part of the game plan, and we don't have, besides Brooks, another left-footed center back who can put those balls out to Weah and Dest on a dime like Tim Ream does on the regular. Chris Richards is not going to be able to duplicate that. He is too right-footed. He has a decent left foot, but he ain't putting dimes out from the left center back position out to Weah and Dest. That's obviously injured. So
yeah. So this is funny because this brings me up to a nice little anecdotal story with my son's game this past weekend, and his coach for our two back lineup. We play like a 2-2-2 type thing. He has two backs, and his left-footed back plays on the right-hand side, and his right-footed back plays on the left-hand side.
Mm-hmm.
And then all game, all I hear from the coach's box is, "Quit taking it back to the middle."
Yes.
That's their strong foot. You're putting them in a situation where they want to go to the middle because that's where their strong foot is at.
Exactly. Yep. And in this case, there are no other left center backs outside, again, of John Brooks, who could come in and fill in for Tim Ream and make the same kind of switch field passes from left side of the field all the way to the right using their left foot. Just nobody else can do it right now, and it's a big part of what Berhalter's setup does. They know that teams are going to focus on Pulisic on that left wing. That usually leaves the right wing vulnerable for us to our advantage. And Tim Ream going to bang it out there. He's still great at it. And I don't banging it out to the right wing. You bet, baby. You bet.
All right, moving on to 8.
Flo Balogun at number 8. Probably would have been higher, but a rough season. Rough up and down season. And I had to take into account the way he fits into Berhalter's system and the way that's worked out for him at the U.S. men's national team and how fucking pissed off and frustrated he is. And I don't blame him. So, and he can't play with his back to goal. He's not really good on set pieces and headers. And in the box, he's not a poacher. So, yeah.
Is Monaco's jersey sponsor an advertisement for their tourist attraction or whatever site, their hospitality site? Visit Monaco?
Probably. But still, being 8 is that's not a shabby spot. That's still pretty high up this ladder. I think Flo will come back next season. I think he'll, improve. I think he's going to learn from this season. We'll see what happens. He's going to get to play in the Champions League next season. So that'll be a bonus. Well, we hope, unless Mbolo takes his spot completely and Ben Yedder is still there and performing, then maybe he'll be a bench guy. I don't know. We will see. He hasn't made a real argument for himself as a locked-in starter for Monaco this season. It's been rough, folks. Let's just be honest. We all love Flo. We were all really excited when he picked us and decided to come play for the U.S. men's national team. But we just can't leave it at that level the whole time. We've got to be critical And we've got to say, not the best season for Flo. Some good numbers, some good games, some good goals. But what are his limitations? His limitations in Greg's system are obvious. They're very obvious. Greg doesn't know how to use a 9 at all. Like a fast, quick, between the lines 9. Doesn't know how to do it. He requires his 9s to come back and collect the ball and play with their back to goal. Not his thing. Not Balogun's thing. So, yeah, 8 is all I could do with him.
Mm-hmm. This would be the controversial one, right?
Yeah, I'm sure it will. Some people are going to lose their shit. If they could, they'd probably throw tomatoes at me. I don't care. For Greg's system and the way Josh has played this season, coming back from injury, scoring 16 goals?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that.
Well, I mean, he's the key for Norwich, their success. They even talked about how Barnes even talked about how he's the best player on the team.
Wagner did. Too.
Wagner, that's right.
Yeah.
No, it was Barnes that said that.
Yeah, but so did the manager.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I mean, I feel like most of the managers that have coached Sargent feel like he's one of those top players because he gets played out of position all the time because they don't have a better option. Maybe they have a on par, equal, or a little bit better striker, and they're like, well, we'll just put Sargent here, or we'll put Sargent there. So he's always, I think all the coaches really thought highly of him. But yeah, this time, it's clear. Then I think he fits Berhalter's system the best out of all of our strikers.
Bingo.
And that's the key, right? And that's the reason why you and I both said that I think Sargent starts in Copa.
Right, because he can play with his back to goal. He's great as a poacher. He's great in the box. He can head a fucking ball, although he missed the header today. But, I mean, he got muscled out of that one. Like, some dude, rammed him. Not today, this weekend, on the header. So, he got kind of pushed as he was heading the ball at the same time. That game sucked, by the way. I mentioned that earlier, Leeds and Norwich. I think the second game is going to be nuts. I can't wait for it. I think it's Wednesday. But, yeah, Adam, he hasn't really got much of a chance on the national team, and he was certainly not a flop at the World Cup before his injury at the World Cup. He was the pick.
The thing with Sarge is that he had a bad spell. Early Berhalter was rough for everyone. It really was. And then that rough spell carried over into World Cup qualifying where he lost his spot, and rightfully so. He wasn't playing that great at the beginning qualifiers, but then he didn't play for the U.S. men's national team for like a year until the pre-World Cup friendlies, at which point, maybe, whatever, nobody played great in those games either. But he was the best 9 for the World Cup team, and he would have continued playing for us except for the frickin' injury.
Yeah, and none of our 9s have stood out. So, say what you will. It's like, who stood out? Has Balogun been a barn burner since he's been with Greg? No. Has Pepe's been the most effective center forward for this team? If you don't count Caribbean nations, then you'd be like, Ferreira should be our center forward, right? Yeah. If you really are just talking about goals, if you want to talk about goals scored by a center forward, then you must think that Ferreira. We should all break out the lube for Jesus Ferreira. Look at how pitiful he looked at the World Cup. Then look at Josh's play at the World Cup and how solid that shit was. Like, if he wasn't injured in the World Cup, he would have been starter going forward. In fact, it got so desperate at the World Cup, we ended up playing Reyna as a center forward at the World Cup, or a false 9. I mean, it's so ridiculous. That's how bad it was. So, yeah, Josh Sargent, got to be there.
Yeah, and again, it'll be interesting to see Sargent actually play with an actual A squad. And we saw him play with an A squad at the World Cup, and he looked good. Now, was he gonna be a Golden Boot by any means? No, not a chance in hell. Nobody from our team would be, but
yeah,
but still,
he fits the system to a T. He fits Greg's system. Great with his back to goal. I think gotta put him on here at 7. So
yeah, and that's the thing, right? He's had a solid season.
Solid.
and he's had
been spectacular.
And he absolutely fits. He absolutely fits Berhalter's system. Those, I mean, if we're gonna rate guys here, going back to Pepe. Who's Pepe really scored against? He saved Berhalter with Honduras.
Yep,
sure. He scored a brace against Jamaica. He scored a brace against Grenada, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then he scored a couple of singles in a couple of the friendlies when he came in the second half. Not taking anything away from Pepe.
I was going to say that.
By any means.
I like Pepe.
Yeah.
I like Pepe a lot.
And quite frankly, if you have to take two strikers, period, and you're looking at Greg's system, and I think that's the key right there. I think Pepe and Sargent are the two. But if you're looking at Flo and you're like, well, Flo brings something different to the game, but I don't know if Greg will actually play something different.
Okay, and not only that, outside the Champions League goal by Pepe, which was awesome, Pepe has played a lot of shit opposition this season where he scored goals. No shit opposition in the championship for the most part. It's an all-out bloodletting battle against every team. Now, are all the teams good? No, Rotherham is fucking garbage. There are a couple teams at the bottom of the championship that are garbage. But it's a blood battle for the rest. Every game's a battle. And dare I say, I mean, PSV were playing chipmunks at Vitesse and Volendam and even Utrecht. I mean, seriously? Those teams couldn't even be in the championship. They wouldn't. Yeah. So, for me, what Sargent's done this season, coming back from injury, playing limited games and scoring 16 goals? What? Yeah, I'm taking that seriously. I am. I took Haji's goal seriously, too, which is why he made this top 50 list. I don't care if he's
I had to go back while we were talking about Sargent just to find out where Haji was, and I think he's 15th.
Yes. That's right up there. It's right up there. He's in the top 4 of the strikers. So,
and as we've talked about when talking about the last window and this upcoming window, when it comes to who we're going to be including in our striker pool, wing and striker, or what do you want to call it? And we talked about the possibility of Haji, Sargent, Pepe, and Flo all being those six role spots. Yep. How strange of a rule that is that we have 4 strikers for 6 spots.
And that's not strange, is what we keep telling people, because both Sargent and Haji can play wing and cut in, just like Haji does for Coventry City.
Mm-hmm.
Sargent's capable because he's been forced to do it for years of doing the exact same thing. And that's why they are also backup wingers and not just center forwards. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. Number 6, Tyler Adams.
Good to see him come back for Bournemouth. I think his leadership is also something you have to put into account here, how important he is as a teammate and a leader of that team. Probably one of the most mature players for the U.S. men's national team, and just a destroyer. Like, that allows everybody else to do offensive things. Because, someone is behind you. His name is Tyler Adams. He's going to destroy anything that goes, behind you. And you can count on it, except for that one time in the World Cup where he uncharacteristically lollygagged it back. That's not Tyler Adams that we know. I think if Tyler Adams is fully healthy, I think he's just one of the best players we got.
And we going back to the Nations League finals, when he came onto the pitch against Jamaica, the I guess the energy level, the pace we played changed quite a bit. All of a sudden, he was were pushing up more. The midfield had a better understanding with him in there because they've played with him for so many years.
Yep.
Then we saw it in Mexico for that first half. You know, he was absolutely balling it out. You know, shame he could only play for 45 minutes and then gets injured again after going back to club, but it is what it is. He has his faults, as does every player in our midfield.
Limitations.
That's probably the better word instead of faults. Limitations.
Yep.
But I also think the certain aspects that he brings to the game can counter that, especially depending on who we're playing.
Yes, he's the only player on our team with a legitimate pair of brass fucking balls. Like, he will tackle a mother, and he doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
He will rip a dude's throat out. He's a talker too, and he's a leader. He's a fucking leader, and that's, I mean, all the Leeds people used to say that. Well, he's a leader on the field. He may not be wearing the captain's armband every game, but he's a leader on the pitch. It's obvious. You need a guy like that, and you just need a guy who covers so much space. Like, if you're going to play a single destroyer in front of the back four, this is the guy you want. Because he allows everybody else the freedom to roam and be
Maloney,
to be offensive. Yeah, Maloney would be another. I mean, he's exactly that for Heidenheim. Like, nobody in front of Maloney worries about defense because they're like, we can go for it. I mean, we're going to play some defense, but we know we got a guy back there who's covering all the lanes, covering all the gaps, cutting off the angles, and destroying fuckers when they get past the, get past us. We know he's going to be back there to cover that space. Is he going to make great through ball passes to strikers to score? No. Apparently, he's got a hell of a right foot, so he might score a goal on occasion, but I wouldn't count on that every game.
No. Tyler has 3 goals his entire career.
Yep.
They've all been bangers too, for what I can remember.
Yeah. Fumar says Pepe and Ballo played wing this season too. They did.
And from a national team standpoint, I think only Ballo would fit like the Weah role. I don't think Pepe would fit either wing role.
No, although Pepe did play left wing on 2 occasions this season, and he wasn't bad at it.
I'm just saying, when it comes to national team level, and when you're looking at what the wings are being asked to do, I'm not 100% positive that Pepe would. I'm sure he'd be serviceable. Let's put it this way.
No. The only start he got this season was Dion started center forward. He started left wing, and I don't remember who the right wing was. Probably Bakayako or whatever his fucking name is. Anyhow, he wasn't bad at it. It looked all right. 5, Anthony Robinson. Hard to keep him out of the top 5. This guy has had an amazing season for 70% of the season, 75. The more recent games, there have been some bad ones. But I think for the majority of the season, maybe 80% of the season, he's been one of the best players on Fulham, probably one of the better left backs in the Premier League. That's why we got all the rumors that he's going to leave. But I have no bad words for Jedi. I mean, he's been stellar. So
yeah, and even when he throws up a stinker for the national team, we all sit here like, geez, this is out of the ordinary. Usually he's one of the more consistent guys.
Yeah, and it's not all his fault. The system doesn't give him the freedom, the same freedom he has at Fulham.
Yeah.
There is a pattern of play for Fulham that apparently people haven't figured out, but they play it down the right, and then they switch fields to Jedi when the whole defensive field is shifted over to the other side for defense. giving him a good, nice path forward. On our team, we start the ball out on the left and make him play ticky-tack ball. Well, that's got to stop. That's not his strength, is ticky-tack. So, I don't know if Greg's noticed that. I hope he has. What we want to do is give Jedi free space in front of him to run into and use his speed. Because he's not going to dribble. He'll dribble past you, but he's not going to dribble through you. So, that's on Greg, I think. Just using Jedi ineffectively. Tom, I think his play is a little inconsistent because Reem isn't there. That kind of might be true. I haven't noticed it, but I do notice that the other two center backs, Tosin and what's his face, have a harder time passing out of the back. Like, there are no switching of fields out of the back anymore for Fulham from the center backs. There are no, splitting a line. Bassey is the other guy. Like, it just doesn't happen as much with Reem gone. And the coach apparently doesn't mind that extra attacking tool being missing because those two do provide a very solid defense. They're very large mammals, both of them, and they're quite fast and they're quite athletic, which Reem is not. So I get the transition. They're much younger than he is too. So they're putting Reem out to pasture, and he'll probably end up either coming to MLS next season or going to a championship team or an up and coming newly promoted Premier League team will probably. I don't think Reem is going to stay at Fulham if he knows he's never going to play again. So he'll be gone. This is his last season at Fulham, which is sad for me. I'm a Fulham nut. I've been a Fulham fan for over 20 years. So it's sad to see it happen. If Odasawi isn't number one, we riot.
Now, Weinstein says if Des is top 5, then somebody needs to stop drinking when creating the scripts. Well, he's 4.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know why you wouldn't think that Serginho Dest is not worthy of being in the top 4, 5, 6. He's in this region, period. If you watched him play this season at PSV, he was just phenomenal in every way. Does Des have his faults? Yes. But is he also great for the U.S. men's national team? Absolutely.
I mean, hell, we're looking at a Copa now without him, and we're sitting here like coming up with everything, throwing anything up against the wall. It won't stick.
Exactly.
I mean, I know Derek's not super high up on Scally starting because he doesn't think Berhalter likes him, which is perhaps pretty accurate, actually.
I know he doesn't like him.
but I mean, if you start Scally, it's a completely different system, right? Because he's not Dest. He'll never be Dest. That's just gonna playing him out of his position in that sense is going to fuck up with this game, make him look worse. But then the question comes down to, without Dest, who are we gonna put back there? And that's again going to change up how we form our starting 11. If we put Weah back there, that takes him out of the right wing spot. If we put McKinney back there, it's out of the middle. Put Musa there, it's out of the middle. So I mean, it really messes things up when you lose Dest, and then that indicates it is a very important cog to Berhalter's system and the U.S. men's national team right now, which would be why, mixed in with his club, why is as high as he is.
I know we criticize the Dutch league a lot here for not being very deep, but go watch his games against Feyenoord or Ajax, or just go ahead and tell me he's not a great player. Go watch him in the Champions League. Okay, all right, yeah, he had one rough game in the Premier League, but he also tears some motherfuckers up too. He'll dribble through like 3 players, no problem. And I mean, he's a special talent. He really is. He's got that ACL. God knows what that's going to do. What's going to come out of that. But if you don't think Des is a special player, I don't know. I don't know what games you missed. You missed some games. Because I've been watching him all season. I think he's special. And I think he's over the failures. I think he really is. I think his next level is a different league. I think his Bundesliga would be great for him to go to Bundesliga. But now we got to get over the ACL. So we're all on hold now, waiting to see what will happen. And that's sad. But, that shit happens, unfortunately.
Like I said, hopefully for the U.S. men's national team, Scally wakes up from his funk and performs well. I mean, it's not going to be the same system, like you said. It's not going to be the same style, same system, or anything like that. But hopefully he plays well with what he's capable of doing.
I mean, people are going to focus on his time at
AC
Milan. Yeah, sometimes you go somewhere, you're an immature bitch, which is, I think he can be that. We've seen it, being a bitch and kicking balls in the stands and being a baby. I think he might have learned something from that, though. I don't think he's going to do that anymore, and I don't think we're going to see that from Des going forward. I think he learned. I think he's matured. And this season at PSV won me over because I knew he had talent, but I was as well worried about his failures at Barcelona and Milan and thinking, is he going to get past this or is he going to crumble? He didn't crumble. He's the best left back or back in general, right or left, in the Dutch league this season by a long shot. It's not even close. Not even close. And that's saying something. And if you don't think people evolve and change and mature, then you could go back and cite the AC Milan shit for 10 years if you want. But you'll be wrong. I think he's a different guy and a different player. So I was not, people were saying when he went to PSV, he's going to have to start for a starting spot there. They got some good guys. And they did. They got World Cup veterans on that team that barely played this season because Des was that good. He was that good. They got players who played for the Dutch national team. Granted, they're 32, or I can't remember how old he is, but that's how good Des was. He was a locked-in starter for this team all season long, and he proved it game after game, just toying with players from the opposition. Even the better teams in Holland, toying with them. He's great. He's a great player.
Al goes on to saying that he can't play for teams with legitimate defensive needs. I think his defensive ability has improved over time a little bit.
Yeah. He's more aware.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I mean, he's not going to be a defensive juggernaut by any means. And that's not his strength. His strength is getting up into the attack and opening up channels moving forward. But yeah, I mean, if your team is reliant on having your backs really help out on the defense, then yeah, he's probably not going to fit that team.
I thought he did pretty well this season getting back and playing defense. Again, I'm only citing the games against the top 4 or 5 teams in Holland where I made that judgment. I didn't count the games against Volendam and Vitesse where he absolutely toyed with those teams, and those teams had no possession and no attack. I'm like, okay, well, that's not a good reflection. But the way he played defense against Ajax and Feyenoord, thought was pretty damn good. Does he still have limitations on defense? Sure. I think he does. But I think he's too big of an asset to just toss aside as the guy who can't play defense. I think he can, and we saw it this season, and we saw it in the Champions League. He can get back. He's smarter about it now than he used to be. He knows, change of possession. Time to get my ass back. And how many times this season at PSV was he the first guy back to save the day? Numerous. Go watch the games. He was there on the transitions and the counterattacks. He wasn't lollygagging. He busted his ass and got back this season.
And I think when you compare what's going to be asked defensively in Holland compared to what's being asked defensively in the Bundesliga, he might get a little more exposed from time to time. But again, I think his defensive ability has improved from what it was. I mean, when he first started playing for the U.S. senior team, it was nothing but balls to the wall, getting up, and then just getting exposed in the back.
Yep.
So I mean, things have improved. He's not a Scally, but then again, Scally isn't a Dest in the attack.
And we called him out
do.
like early shows. We criticized Dest for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd still be criticizing him if he didn't get better. I'd still be saying, hey, get the fuck back and play some defense just like I used to. I'm not doing it anymore because I know he's made a conscious decision. I can tell about getting back and making sure you're part of solving the problem that's happening on the counterattack. I didn't used to be able to say that, but I can say it now.
So yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens moving forward with Dest. If he does go to test himself at a more somewhere where there's going to be more competition, not more competition, but just a stronger league in general. It'll be interesting to see if he gives up some of his offensive capabilities to be more defensive minded, or if he's going to be more offensive minded and more lax on the defensive roles.
Yeah, we won't know. We won't know shit for 8 months.
Yeah.
That's the sad thing. We really won't. So sad for, like, I mean, we're all going into desperation mode about really what do we do it right back? Because Scally, the way Berhalter plays, is not the solution. And Berhalter doesn't even like Scally. I mean, not as a person. He doesn't like how Scally fits into his system. So who do you play back there? And I'm not getting into this now. We'd be here all night. You know? All right. So,
longer than we already are.
Right. Number 3. Why is that so small? All right. Weston McKennie.
Smaller than others.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah, that's what she said. Weston McKennie, no denying McKennie has to be in the top 3. No denying. He said that, except for the last game. And another games a couple games ago where I'm like, where is he? What's going on? But for the most of the season, McKennie has been flat out one of the best players and best midfielders for Juventus this season. So I don't need to argue this. If you don't think he's in the top 3, then I don't know what I can say.
No, my argument here would be with McKennie's performance with Juventus and generally speaking his performance with the U.S. men's national team. I know this last window was a little question marky at times. But overall, I think I probably would have flipped him and Reyna in this sense because I already know where Reyna's at.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have put Reyna at 3 and Weston at 2, in my opinion.
It was not easy for me, trust me. But the only thing, and you can go to number 2 if you want.
As well.
What edged me over is watching the U.S. men's national team play without Gio Reyna. And how garbage we are without him on the pitch. McKennie was on. McKennie is.
I think how garbage Berhalter ball is without Gio on the pitch.
Well, yeah, that goes without saying, right? But with Reyna, we're just a better team. McKennie's a better teammate. He's a better player with Reyna on the pitch. He makes everybody better for the U.S. men's national team. And it was tough because we've had this horrible season with Nottingham Forest, this horrible loan where I think we were all thinking he might get more minutes than this. And at least he's not injured. He didn't get injured. Remember, that was the whole thing. Oh, he's going to go to the East Premier League. They're going to break his leg. He's going to get injured. He's going to pull a thigh. His ACL is going to blow out. Nope, that didn't happen. So it was just a lack of playing time, unfortunately. But for the U.S. men's national team, I can't think of a more important player in transition than Gio Reyna playing at CAM for us. No one else can play that role in a natural way other than Malik Tillman. But if you're talking about where Tillman is and where Reyna is skill-wise right now, I tell you, Reyna's just better. And it told. That tale was told in the last window. Tillman got the start. Didn't look that great at that role. Reyna came on, saved our asses against Jamaica. Right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No.
I missed something?
I guess going back and watching Tillman's like every touch reel for that Jamaica game.
He went horrible.
No, that's the thing. I looked back at that going, man, I guess I was just blinded to the fact that we were all playing like shit.
Right. He wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but he didn't, create 2 assists that won the game.
Sure. 100%.
That we should have lost. We should have lost, and Berhalter's ass would have been underneath the kettle. Right?
Yeah.
We should have lost that game. It's a fucking miracle we won that game.
It's hysterical that we go from barely scraping a win against Jamaica to downright destroying Mexico.
Yeah.
But I think Al pointed this out. Weston, I didn't even realize Weston had this many assists. And he had a lot of assists.
Yeah, he did.
He was leading the assists with 9 for Juventus.
He's amazing.
It's fascinating that Juve won't pony up a little bit more cash to keep him involved.
Because they don't have the money.
And I'm just looking at this list going, well, maybe looking at the assists and maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's why Juve's gone amiss, is that there's no key assister outside. McKinney's a key assister in this situation.
Not a goal scorer, though. He used to do that.
Yeah, he did have a handful of goals that one season, especially.
God, he blew a bunch of chances this season.
Yeah, he did. I know. And then you had Vlahovic. There we go. Steal his 1 goal that was going to go in.
Yeah,
we've talked about that, guys. But
yeah,
it's a shame. It's a shame. But obviously, number 1's Christian Pulisic.
Listen, as important as Reyna is for this team, for many other reasons, Pulisic at his absolute best, I mean, he's going to be the guy that puts the ball in the net. Just look what he did to Germany in that friendly. Holy shit. He's capable of that. And I think he's more mature. He's a leader of that team, U.S. men's national team. You got to give him bonus points for that. Mm-hmm. Is he always consistent? Does he show up every national team game? No. Does he show up every game for his club? No. But this season for AC Milan, he's generally showed up and had a really good season. Is he streaky? Yeah. He can be streaky. He's still, outside of Adams, he's the leader of this team. So I got to give him the bonus points for that. Reyna is not yet old enough or mature enough to be a real leader of this team. He's still a passenger as far as leadership goes. So is he essential, Reyna, at, moving, transitioning from defense to offense? Yes, absolutely. But Pulisic's still the guy. He's still the man. 100%. So,
and given his stellar season with AC Milan, especially given the questionable seasons at Chelsea at the end there with why am I spacing his name? Bayern's coach now.
Oh, Tuchel,
thank you. I kept wanting to say Terzic, and I knew I was wrong because obviously it's Dortmund's, but yeah, no. Given his resurgence at the club level, how well he's playing, and how required he is for the U.S. men's national team, because when we start losing our wings, whether it was Weah or whether it was Pulisic, and we're looking at depth at that point, it was very questionable.
Yeah, got to put Fumar's 2 comments up. They're amazing.
This one.
Pooley is the penis for the U.S. men's national team, but Reyna is the Viagra.
Weston's the testicles.
And West the testicles. I think
And we're
Adam,
here to fuck you up.
I think West is the right testicle and Adams is the left testicle. Honestly, to be truthful, Adams one of those testicles as well. So anyhow,
so real quickly, I just want to look at we don't have to go into any depth by any means, but I want to look at the 2022 top 50 real quick.
all right, real quick. Wow.
Alan Sonora.
Oh, wow.
There's Conrad. Christian Roldan's on it.
Wow.
2
years ago.
Jack Moore and Bassett. Yeah.
Just to be clear, people, this is 2 years ago.
Let's see here. Yeah. Ed Mihailovich. Sands was on there.
No, wait a minute. That's the right side. That doesn't count.
This is you. This is me.
Oh, okay.
So
Hoppy 31.
Dude, I already know this ahead of time, but I have Hoppy higher than this. I think 27 or something like that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
We were riding high off of that Gold Cup.
Yeah.
And so I mean makes sense.
Schalke.
Well,
Schalke.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean he just moved at that point. But we were coming off of his performances at Schalke and his big move.
Yeah.
His big move to Spain. Right?
Yeah.
Boy, did that crumble.
Yeah, pretty much.
DK.
That's what Wuxia said about Sonora as well. That paid off.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We got
keep in mind, people, this is 2 years ago.
Areola, Sands, Mihailovich on yours. Mine was Cannon, Leggett.
Look how high we had Bello.
Yeah, I know. He had just gotten to what's its face, right? In the Bundesliga. What is it? Armenian? Or what is it? Bielefeld?
Armenia Bielefeld.
Bielefeld. There you go. I was going to get it eventually.
Yeah. Palmer Brown all the way up to 21.
Mine must be higher because I don't even remember. No, hey, hold on. Did I even have EPB in here? God, if he's in 20 and above, man, that's... Oh, he's right here, EPB. Okay.
Yep.
The Yedlin, Pepe and Sargent are in the mid-20s. Got Morris right next to him.
This has got to be longer than 2 years ago.
No, that was posted in our Dropbox in July of 2022.
Okay.
We could go back and rewatch that entire stream if you want another 3 hours.
Jesus Christ, no. Aaron Long. Oh my God. Wow. How things have changed so much in 2 years. It's like we hardly had an MLS person on our top 50 now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Although our top 10, McKinney, Pulisic, Reyna, Adams, Weah, Dest, Aronson, Musa, Brooks, and Robinson.
Yeah.
So it's not terribly far off the top 10, obviously. But obviously there were some changes because obviously Flo wasn't here.
Well, shit, so a lot's changed since then, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, everything's changed since then. It's been a massive, yeah.
Yeah. So we got a Zimmerman at 11. We also have to remember that we're also taking into consideration what was going to happen under Berhalter's system.
Yes.
Because this isn't Derek and mine who we think is from 1 to 50. We're taking into consideration Berhalter and the system, and
this is what we thought Berhalter thought.
So
it isn't what we thought; it's what we thought Berhalter thought at the time. So it's not just us going willy nilly and just like we're like, who does Berhalter rate? So that's where this came from.
So Brendan at 5. That was mine, I guess. 7 was yours. I mean, he was coming off of his Salzburg years.
Yeah, those were good.
And that was the beginning of qualifier, and he was killing it.
Yeah.
When Pulisic went out, he came in and immediately killed it. mean, there's a reason. I mean, outside of there's a reason why Leeds was looking at him before even Marsch got there.
Right.
I mean, he was just flying high at that point. Man, it's a different time, guys. When you start looking at like those the new cycle starts, and you're looking at who do we think is going to make the 2026 World Cup 4 years from now, some of that's going to be right. And then there's going to be a chunk of it that's not right. And you're going to be like, man, remember when so-and-so was highly touted as being the next this?
Well, and at that time, 2 years ago, maybe Brooks was still on the radar. I don't know.
That was the beginning of qualifying.
Yeah. So
I don't think July of 2022, I don't think Brooks had been banned at that point, because we were just getting ready to start qualifying at that point. I think it was September, or October. September, I think. Something like that.
2022? That was World Cup year.
2022? No, 2024 was World Cup year.
No, it's 2024 now, Brett.
Oh, derp. You're right.
I think this is older than you think it is.
No, it can't be. Again, I looked at the dates on it.
Okay. This seems older than that. This all seems older.
July 13th of 2022 is when this was submitted into our top 50.
Oh, then I'll have to go back and watch the show because I have no context for this now. But still, yeah. I mean, it's by then Brooks would have been way out of the picture. Way out of the picture.
Yeah.
We already knew it 2 years ago.
Yeah, I guess we'd have to look at the context as well, wouldn't we?
Yep, we would. Speaking of context, it's important that you understand when the stepbrother and the stepsister get together that you got to have context, because if they've known each other since they were 3, that's a little weird. But they just hooked up in high school. Yeah, that's a little different. Context is important for everything that we do on this show and as well in real life. And that's why stepsisters across the world contact me for intimate conversations about what they're dealing with their stepbrothers and vice versa. And we do appreciate all of you coming and listening to this show for 3 hours long, which I think is ridiculous. I'm about losing my voice, as you can hear. I'm going hoarse at this point, even though I've been liquefying the whole time. Not me as a person, but
I'd say, Derek, then wrap it up. Tell them it's okay to go fuck your stepsister, and let's close out the show.
All right, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma. We will be back on Thursday. Lots more to talk about. I appreciate it and love all of you. We will see you soon. Good night.
That hurt.
Then what is this thing?
Gio should never play for U.S. men's national team again because of the action of his parents.